we're back. We're bad. You're black. I'm mad.
Good man. Hey, listen. If we're going, shouldn't I have a gun?
No.
You think that when you die, you go to heaven. You come to us.
Who's coming?
The dark.
What the fuck is going on, man? Back to man.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another week. Welcome to the Horror Lives Matter show. I'm Vas. This is Pete, and
hey, how you doing?
I'm very glad you guys are all here. You're doing okay there, Pete?
I'm good. Can I just say, Vas, your intros get better and better every week. Every week, man. I see that you managed to include the Watchers too. Fuck you, man, at the end there, man. So that's brilliant, mate. That's brilliant.
Yeah, I don't suppose if anybody didn't watch last week's stream, they wouldn't even know what the hell was going on. But well, hell, why not? Yeah. But anyway, just before we start, I just want to mention something. So at the start of this week, I noticed I hit 600 subscribers, which I'm super happy and buzzing about. Right now, I'm on 627 subscribers. So I just wanted to say a thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel, old and new. And Pete, thank you, mate, for letting me ride in your coattails of your awesomeness. I love you, man. You're the best.
I see.
Oh, shit. What happened there? Was it something I said? Oh, no. Actually, while it's just me, I also want to give a big shout out and thank you to Ricky from All Day F Reviewers. I was on his stream last night, his Halloween stream, and that was wicked, man. It was so good, so much fun. Ricky streams are always the best. You guys should go check out that stream. It's on his channel. Just type in All the F Reviewers in YouTube search, and you'll find it there. And give him a sub as well, because that man, he's the man. He's a legend. Welcome back, Pete.
Don't know what happened there, mate. Don't know what happened there at all. It was just all your compliments knocked out my internet. You see,
is it the emotions? Yeah,
I think so. It was the emotions knocked out my internet, and then I had to give my head a shake and got back in the game. So apologise about that. Hopefully, that's the last time that happens tonight, mate.
Anyway, enough of that goddamn mushy stuff. Let's talk some horror films. So, exactly. As usual, we'll start off with what we've seen this week, and there's one big movie this week, and let's go on with that. And that is Terrifier 2, mate. Did you watch it?
I did. I watched that 2 hours, 20 minutes mega movie, man. It's a mega movie. It's it's a long ass film, but you know what, mate? I have to say I really enjoyed it. It didn't feel like a 2 hours, 20 minute movie for me. They got a lot right in this movie that they didn't get right in the first movie for me. You had a decent final girl, and there was a possibility of redemption rather than just seeing this nasty, sadistic clown just indiscriminately butcher. There's a lot of that in this movie, right enough, but there's also redemption in this movie. But I really enjoyed it, mate. It's insanely violent, as you know. But you know, this Damien Leone guy, I understand he did all the makeup and practical effects for it, and I have to say, some of the effects of folk getting some of the injuries and stuff like that, top notch, just absolutely top notch. I didn't. I mean, it's bonkers, and the last 20 minutes just goes completely out there into like some kind of superhero movie, right enough, but.
Yeah, there's like magical swords and all sorts of weird stuff happening, isn't there? And there's like demon spirit kids during the movie. Well, I don't know where the hell that came from.
She was scary.
Yeah, it definitely got a bit bonkers.
Yeah, that little kid scared me, like, you know, especially when she had them glow in the dark yellow eyes in the van and that. Like, I was like, what the fuck? But all the way
Yeah.
through, that look on her face, she was the scariest thing in the movie for me. But you know,
Yeah.
the violence,
She's like a
is relentless.
mini me, but with Terrifier.
exactly. The bit that got me, mate, is the rather extended killing of that girl in her bedroom that just seems to go on forever and ever and ever and ever.
Hey man, how was she still alive? Seriously, after 30 seconds, she would be dead, but she was alive through the whole thing, and it just like got more and more brutal. And yeah, man, it definitely outdoes the first one for gore, especially that scene there. I mean, that one is like the showcase moment in the whole movie. But there's no way she's gonna survive all that, man. I was like, no way. Let the bitch die. Let her die. What are you doing? And even at the end of it, he was like hooking her up, and she was like still still alive.
Yeah, no, and she never stopped screaming through the whole scene as well, which is grim. I think that's my thing with recent horror movies that I've watched.
I liked her as well. I was like,
totally.
Pure torture.
No, absolutely. I mean, there was a lot more likable characters in Terrifier 2 than there was in Terrifier 1. So that kind of got me back on board a little bit because the first one is just Art the Clown killing, and you're not really rooting for anybody else at all. But in this movie, you are kind of rooting for him. There's some decent people. I really like the relationship between the final girl and her mother. I thought that was quite well done. But to be fair,
mother was a bitch. Mother was a bitch. I was so happy when she got killed. The only person I was happy that got killed in the movie was the mother. I was like,
but she cared though, Bassy. That's why she was a bitch. Her love for her daughter made her a bitch.
Ah, man.
Well, what did you think of Terrifier 2 then, buddy? Did you like it?
I will tell you. Let me I totally forgot about the comments. Let's quickly have a look at the comments, mate. And I was just going to mention. It's Supernatural week this week. Supernatural movies all week, and a lot of them I think all of them we've seen, haven't we? We've seen before. We're quite familiar with them. If anyone would like to join in tonight's stream, I have put a StreamYard link in my community tab on this channel. If you want to check that out, and you can hop on and talk about any movie you want to talk about while whatever day of the week we're talking about. Even this one, if you want to talk about Terrifier 2, you can just come on and have a chat with us and let us know what you think. I will try and get that link in the chat. I'll do my best. But yeah, in the meantime, let's go on with these comments. All right, I remember to put them on the screen. Come on, Vass. Right, Mike says, he's in the pub tonight, so he can't watch live. Anytime you want, mate.
He's in the pub, fair play.
I know, yeah. There's worse places to be, isn't there?
Yeah.
Ricky from All There for Viewers. Your Vass, bro. Big up, respect to Ricky. Thanks again, man, for having me on last night. I had a brilliant time, man. Everyone there who was there are some of my favorite people. So I had a blast, mate. Thank you so much. And Gareth was there last night as well. Away the lad, yeah, man. It was nice having the crew back together. It's been a while. Let's have a look. Nope. Yeah, Gareth's always here. He's my mate. He shows me support. What would happen if Ricky wasn't an... Ricky's a cool man. Can't say a bad word about him. What would happen if Gareth got a life? Yeah. He just has a lot of free time. Why not? What's my sis? Sup, boys? Looking forward to the bands and mint crack.
Hey, Rosina.
Thanks, sis. My son said hello, and Rabbi said hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, honey. Mrs. V, yeah.
It's like a total community going on.
Guys, I've got to go. Put the nib to bed. I'll dip in again after I've had... Oh, thanks, man.
Nice, man.
We'll be here for the next couple of hours. Dave, back by the man. Dave's here. Hiya, Dave, mate. So glad you're here. He's like the unofficial third member of the Horror Livestreams Matter crew, I would say.
He is.
He's always showing us support. Thanks, man. You're a ledge. Terrifier 2, Dave says, is the only horror movie I'm really looking forward to this year so far. Well, if you're having trouble finding it, you can just watch it on the YouTube because, dude, it's on YouTube. Just type in Terrifier 2 full movie, and it's on YouTube. It's been uploaded a few times, and it's still there. I just checked before the stream started. If you want, the picture's absolutely fine as well. If you want to just watch it on YouTube, you can just check it out, man. So that's nuts. That's insane. But why not go ahead and watch it?
And it's still doing good money in the box.
Happy pre-Halloween, everyone. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One week to go, guys.
Getting closer.
So yeah, man. Let's get back onto this Terrifier 2. Right, the first Terrifier. How much of a fan are you of Terrifier 1?
Not much, mate. I would give it. I'll give it about 5 out of 10. It lost me when it cut that woman in half. I thought it was sexualized violence, and it left a bad taste in my mouth. I did not like that one little bit.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's so I'll give it a 5 out of 10. There was no redemption there or anything like that. There was no one you were rooting for. It was just Art the clown going from one scene of carnage to another scene of carnage, and you never really felt that anyone would get the better of him. So yeah, I wasn't really a fan, but it did have a lasting impression on me. Certainly enough for me to want to watch the sequel, mate. So yeah, a vast improvement for me. The sequel.
Mm-hmm. I'm really not surprised. Like the character Terrifier in the movie has like sort of hit a nerve with people, and people seem to like really are attracted to it. It's like a new icon, whatever. I can totally understand it, to be honest. But like for me, the first one, it was recommended to me so many times, and I just didn't get around to watching it. I finally did, and I thought it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. It does what it says in the tin. Like, it gives you what you would expect, and there's plenty of Art the Clown in there, and he is cool, like creepy dude, and it's definitely full on. It did go a bit too far for me at times. Like, I don't know, I didn't enjoy watching some parts of it, and I don't know. There's two types of violence for me. There's like the violence that's like, it kind of turns you off a little bit, and you're like, I'm not enjoying watching this. And there's ones that are like so over the top. It's like, but you can still enjoy it. You can kind of appreciate it. Yeah. Like it's like a bit imaginative or stuff like that. I don't know. I don't know quite how to explain it. Like, if you take a movie like The Thing, when it came out, people were saying, it's like people were turned off by how gruesome and gory it is. But that sort of gore in that, it's like it's got so much imagination to it. It's like showing you stuff you've never seen before, and it's like it's cool. It's so cool watching it. So some scenes are like that, and then some scenes are a bit like realistic and gritty, and it's like watching somebody having an operation or something. It gets a bit icky. You know what I mean? Totally. So I don't like that sort of stuff. So I found the gore in that, and some of like that girl that got her face all messed up at the end, all that stuff. Yeah. Like, I just didn't enjoy seeing it. Yeah. Like, if you compare Nightmare on Elm Street, the original Freddy Krueger, and the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, how Freddy looks different. Freddy looks like a real Burns victim in the reboot of Nightmare on Elm Street, and that was a turn off for me. But Freddy Krueger looks cool, man. He's like he's like, it's like it's done in a way that's like bigger than life, So he's burned, but he's burned in a cool way, so it looks like just like a cool effect. But in the new one, he just looks like a Burns victim, which is like, I don't want to see that for an hour and a half. So it's the same sort of comparison I would make. Yeah. No, listen. Yeah, but the second Terrifier, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, if anything,
the second Terrifier, I thought it was you're cutting out there, Pete, a little bit.
No, am I?
Yeah, you're like stopping and starting, like stop motion.
Is it? Am I now?
Yeah, just a little bit. You seem a little better now. Right, go on. Say what you're going to say.
No, I was going to say, I agree with you, Vass. If anything's too real, then it takes me to a different place. And generally, when I watch a horror film, I want to be scared, but I don't want to, I don't want to be depressed 9 times out of 10, So
I'm super squeamish, man. I mean, when I take my kids to get the injections and things, I have to look away, man. I can't take it. Even people get injections or whatever, or like if I hurt myself and the doctor's like fixing me up, I turn away like this. I can't take it, dude. I'm so squeamish. But
Nah.
if it's in a movie, I know it's not real, and it's like it's done in that way that I like. I get a kick out of it. But if it's like too realistic, I'm like, nah, man, that's too real. I don't want to see that. I want it to be like bigger than life. I don't want to see like real life sort of stuff, like gritty sort of realistic stuff. Not for me.
No, I hear you.
Yeah, but yeah,
I agree with you. Terrifier 2 is more comic book violence. It's violent as hell.
Go ahead.
But it's more kind of elevated gore rather than realistic gore. Am I cutting out?
Yeah, totally. The movie was a bit. I don't know. It was. I think they got away with it because it's gone a bit supernatural now, isn't it? So they got away with the craziness of what happens because the movie makes no sense to me at all. I don't know. I don't quite know how he was alive at the beginning and how he's alive at the end, and everything in between was like I don't know. It felt like the director said, "I want to have all these cool kills. I've got all these set pieces of kills that people are going to go, wow, that's amazing." And then he wrote the script around it.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like, rather than having a story first, because the story, I don't know, I don't think it holds up.
I couldn't quite work out what how he was still alive after the first one. I know the body wasn't found and everything like that, but he basically.
And how was he alive at the end, dude? What was that about? After in the middle of the credits, when it comes back on again and he's alive again, what the hell was that, dude?
In the middle of the credits, really? I turned it off. I was like,
did you not see that bit?
Nah. In the
middle of the credits, it's another 5 minutes, dude.
Oh shit, you're joking, right?
I can't even say what it is because go back and watch it, man. Because it's
go back and watch it, right? It finished.
It's out there, man. It's out there.
That's it. Okay.
No, I kind of felt like there was still 10 minutes left. I thought there's not 10 minutes of credits, so I fast forward, and the movie comes back on again, and there's like an epilogue at the end, Jesus. and Terrifier comes back.
Right.
Art the Clown comes back in the weirdest way. If you try and think of what's that movie? Extra, you'll have a clue. You'll have a clue of how he comes back, dude.
Does someone give birth to him?
Something like that, yeah.
No.
Weird, man. It is weird.
Okay.
I guess
no,
at that point,
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
The director was hoping nobody would care.
Fair.
But yeah, I did like it. I did enjoy it. It did. I did turn away quite a few times, especially in that the scene where the best friend gets killed. That extended scene, I thought that was just a little bit unnecessary.
Because
I think if you got a kick out of that, there's something wrong with you, dude.
No, exactly. As he's doing all these things to her, and that she just doesn't stop screaming. It's horrific. Like it's quite harrowing watching because you feel like she's suffering big time. Like
the first slice she gets down the face, I was like, okay, that's enough. Just kill her now. That's it. Get on with it.
Yeah,
but that was just the beginning. That was just the beginning.
Right. Exactly.
It goes on and on.
Yeah, it was never going to get that good again.
And Art the Clown's look at his face. Art the Clown's his look on his face. He's so happy when he's doing it, isn't it? He's just got the big smile on his face. Yeah. He's like chuckling to himself. I'm like, you bastard.
He's a bastard, man. He is a bastard. And he's got that, towards the end of the movie, he's got that chain thing as well that he's just whipping people with knives on and that. And he's going, and he's loving it, man. He's a sick, twisted fuck. But he's, I do like the addition of that little girl. Like that, I have no idea what it's all about. But she was really creepy.
She was creepy, yeah. I think she was the only actually creepy thing in it. Once you get over Art the Clown, like how creepy he is, she's even more creepy than him, to be honest, wasn't she?
Totally.
Yeah, but the movie's not scary at all. If you want scares and suspense, you're not going to find it in Terrifier 2. But if you're looking for like a gore fest,
100%. 100% is not a scary movie. I would go as far as creepy with the little girl. And the gore
that's the only creepy thing in it, I think.
Yeah, and the gore will kind of turn your stomach, but it's an assault on your senses, not but you won't go to bed having nightmares. I don't think.
Totally. I'm just thinking, can I get this right? Let's go back to these comments and we'll start this Supernatural week.
No problem.
Okay, Dave says, I've already been to Salem, Massachusetts once so far. It's only one train stop away from where I live.
Nice.
Where the witches live.
Yes.
Dave says, I basically love the first Terrifier. I give it an 8 out of a Bushy 10. It was nostalgic and new all at the same time. I get what he means there. Yeah. The first one was great fun. Terrifier was nostalgic and new feelings too. Yeah, absolutely, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave says, I got to see the remake of Cat People and the remake of The Thing in 1982, back to back. I think they did come out in the same year, didn't they? Cat People.
Yeah, they did.
And yeah.
Some double bill, that.
I used to have a massive crush for Natasha Kinski. Yeah, it is, yeah.
Yeah, she was
back to back at the drive-in, thanks to my dad and the projectionist friend back then, as we already knew. No, I'm 52 years old now, yeah. If anybody doesn't know that already. Dave says, just like me, Vas, in a movie, I can put up with some gore, but in real life, I can't put up with real blood and guts, ironically. Yeah, totally, man. And it's weird. Normies are different. I mean, those shows used to be really popular. You know, like you used to have the daytime. You used to have like hospital shows where they used to show operations and things. And I was like, how can you watch that? You used to even show bits on like This Morning and all sorts of. Like, even Animal Hospital and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't want to.
I think it's a girl thing, mate. I think it's a girl thing. It's only girls that I know that watch those shows and they love them. Like Ruth loves it. I'll walk in and somebody's, spine will be open or the hip will be open. They'll be grinding on bones and that. I'll be like, well, what the fuck are you watching, man? And she's like that, going, oh no, it's really good. It's really interesting. I'm like, it's not interesting. What the fuck, man? But yeah, I think it's a girl thing. Girls love these shows. Girls and doctors.
Absolutely. Dave says, I didn't see the mid-credit sequence either. Wow, I definitely got to go check that out. Thank you, Vas. You won't be thanking me once you've seen it because it's it's out there, mate. It's all out there. Right. Let's get on to what was Monday's movie? It was so long ago, man, Pete.
What? Monday's movie was House of the Devil.
House of the Devil. Let me get that up there. House of the Devil. Comments. Right, Pete. Tell us about House of the Devil.
Okay, so House of the Devil is about a girl called Samantha. And Samantha is a struggling student. She's desperate to move out of a shared student accommodation, and move into her own place. She's been to see a flat the flat just happens to be owned by E.T.'s mum, Dee Wallace. Who pops up in a couple of these movies, I think, this week. I think. Well, anyway. But the flat is owned by Dee Wallace. She says that she'll waive a bit of the deposit, but she essentially has 3 days to find, I think, like $300, which is quite a lot of money because the movie is based in the 80s. So a few $100s is quite a lot of money. So she's really skint, but she needs to seize this opportunity. Now, she goes back to college, and on one of the notice boards, somebody is pinned up, babysitter wanted, give this number a call and earn some money. She calls the number, and she gets a very mysterious sounding man on the phone. And after a bit of to-ing and fro-ing, long story short, she ends up invited to a house in the middle of nowhere to babysit. And when she meets the chap who's called her, he then breaks the news to her that, in fact, there is no baby at all. His mother will be staying up in the attic for the entire duration of the evening while he goes out to watch a total eclipse of the moon. All she has to do is just essentially keep away from the mother and get through the night, and he'll be home at 12:30. And that's what she does. But little does she know that she's about to spend a night in the house of the devil. And that's basically the setup for the movie.
And what do you think, mate?
Right, okay. So, directed by Ty West. I think we all know who Ty West is. We've talked about his movies quite a lot on this show, so I don't need to spend too much time on that. A bit of trivia, that Roger Ebert guy give this one 3 out of 4 stars. And, in the past, Roger Ebert doesn't really like horror movies that much. You get that impression. So he's like this one. And I dare say it's probably because, you know, it's a bit of a slow burn. It's more of a character tale rather than a shock, jump type of movie. So you probably got into that. It only got a very limited release. I think it was only in a few kind of festival circuits. And the movie itself was shot in 16 millimeter in order to give that kind of grainy 80s feel. And I think that totally works for the movie. So we'll go into it. What I liked about this movie, so I've just mentioned it there, the 16 millimeter kind of retro aesthetic of the movie. I thought it was spot on. You know, obviously I know that the film is from 2009, but, you know, going into the movie, even the first time I watched it, you know, I had to second guess and check IMDb to see it actually was from 2009. It looks that good. Let me see. I like authentic. Yeah, definitely. I love the title sequence as well. They got it spot on. I thought it felt like you were watching an old
that was really good.
And the music going along with it. I thought that was great. Let me see. I really like. Now, here's the thing. It's weird, mate, because I think we touched on this last week. But if you were asking me what I thought of the movie the first time I watched it, it would be different to what I'm saying just now. So what I actually like about this movie now is the pacing of the movie. It's very much a slow burn, but it does keep the tension out. And, you know, throughout kind of things that happen in the house as she discovers new rooms, there's always something that's happening that's upping the tension a little bit, where she realizes then that X, Y, and Z is not quite what it seems. So I really like that kind of stuff. Jocelyn Donahoe, who plays Samantha, I thought she was great. She invokes empathy. Really, yeah, you care for her and you want her to survive this night in the house of the devil. You really do. She's, you know, we've all been, you know, a skint student and everything like that. So you back her, and she's getting taken advantage of by, you know, evil adults, essentially. So you're really kind of backing her. You want her to succeed. Okay, I put Tom Noonan as well. He's fantastic in this. He is very good. Creepy as hell, like, you know, and he's a good actor anyway. But yeah, I think his performance shows you that he gets it exactly what type of movie that they're making here. And he seems to be having quite a good time with it. And, you know, no Tom Noonan, and I don't think this film works at all. Let me see. It's creepy as hell, obviously. Let me see. Oh, and there's a guy called AJ Bowen, and I don't know if you know who this actor is, mate, but he pops up in a lot of Thai West movies, but he's also in a bunch of other horror movies as well. He's a great
The guy with the beard.
The guy with the beard, yeah. He's a great character actor. Yeah, good actor him. So it was good to see him in, obviously, Dee Wallace. The score to the music, I think the music in the movie, especially as it's going tits up towards the end, it gets creepy as hell, kind of really ratchets it up. And, you know, the ending, it's just badass. It reminds me of Rosemary's Baby, you know, and it feels like you're watching a total, you know, nasty devil cult film, which you are. And, you know, I've got a soft spot for devil cult films. So, yeah, and the ending is suitably tragic as well, you know. It's not a happy ending at all, but, you know, you feel like you've been through the ringer, even though relatively little, if you like, has happened in the first, you know, hour and 20 minutes, but the last 10 minutes goes bow, bow, bow. One more shout out as well. The gunshot to the face of her best mate is just brilliant. It's just brilliant. Like, kind of comes out of nowhere and it's boom. You're just like, what the fuck just happened there? So I did love that. Disliked. Not much, and this is what I've wrote here, not much, but I've just put down here that, you know, I don't think a second view is recommended with this movie. I think it's required with this movie, because I think the first time you watch this movie, it's very easy to say, do you know what, that was boring, nothing really happened, it took ages to get going, blah, 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 blah. Watch it a second time, knowing all this, you know what to expect, and it's a different experience completely. There's a lot of nuances there that I didn't pick up on, or, you know, I wasn't sat there going like a consumer saying, come on man, entertain us. It made me work for my scare. It made
Yeah.
me work for my scare. So I'm giving this a solid 7 out of 10, mate. I really appreciate this film. Yeah. Over to you, Vassy. What did you think?
Good, man. I was it's pretty similar for me. I wrote the exact same thing. A good title sequence. I thought that was really, really good. Nice way to draw like the viewer in at the start of the movie. I thought the story was like a very simple but effective story. There's not that much to it, is there? But it's just well told. And I said the lead girl Samantha was pretty awesome. I couldn't tell. They were saying, how old do you think she looks in the movie? I thought she looked quite old, and then one of the characters says, "Oh, you look really young," and I was like, "She looks really old." I don't know.
They seem to.
She's got one of them faces that could be old and young at the same time.
Yeah, they seem to be intimating that she's about 18-year-old or something like that. But she looks about 22, 23 right enough. But
right, yeah. So I said, go on. I like the way it unfolds. The motivations of the story are like they're very clear. I mean, you kind of know exactly what's going to happen. I didn't think there was any surprises in there. I mean, if you know the basic story, it's like it's not like a new story. It's not nothing you've never seen before.
Yeah, you've seen this film before, that's for sure.
There is a mystery to it, and the mystery unfolds super slowly. I agree with what you said. Like the first time I watched it, I thought it was just too slow. Then the second time I watched it, I really liked it, and this is the third time watching, and I was back to saying, "Dude, this is really the first half of the movie." I got to say, I was looking at my phone quite a bit. I don't think I had my phone back on the second watch, but now I've got the phone with us. I was like, it was moving at a crawl's pace for me. So I did find it a little bit too slow. Yes, but it says, but fortunately, the momentum does keep moving forward. It never stops.
Yeah,
it is always like the story is always moving forward. It just takes a while to get where it's going, and I was a tiny bit impatient for that. I said it's rewatchable, just like you said, and I wrote it's one of those movies that I know I'll enjoy, but I don't know how much patience I'll have to rewatch it regularly.
Yeah,
because like I said, that first half, I did appreciate the little things that Ty West does in the movie to keep it interesting. He's got a nice eye, he's got a nice style to him, and he has all these cool little bits in it. But I don't know, man. He needs to tighten things up, in my opinion. Just generally in his whole library of work, I think he needs to tighten things up, man. I think he'd be a wicked director, but he's just super laid back, man. That guy, like the way he makes his movies. I've noticed that in all the films of his that I've seen. Right, I wrote there. I really like Tom Noonan.
Nice.
He's the Ripper from Last Action Hero. He's Kane from RoboCop 2. He's cool in that as well. Yeah, and he's absolutely that dude in Manhunter. He kills all them roles. He's Frankenstein in Frankenstein's monster in Monster Squad as well, isn't he?
Holy shit! I keep forgetting it's him. Right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And I wrote there. I'm not quite sure why I wrote that. I said lots of low angles. I noticed when the movie was going on. It's filmed in very low angles, looking up. I just noticed that like almost every shot in the movie was like at a really low angle, looking up. I don't know if it's because Tom Noonan's so tall, but it was just like
they make Tom Noonan look really fucking tall in that movie. Like he comes, so he comes to the door, and I'm thinking, how tall is Tom Noonan in this movie? 8 foot, because he's like their heads are there, and he's like his walking sticks here in front of the head, and I'm like, he can't be that fucking tall. I thought it was like I thought I was watching The Hobbit or something. But yeah, they're really fucking tall in this movie. Like, but that's all right, man. That's all right. But now, listen, I get what you mean. It is you do have to wait. It requires patience, but maybe on the second, third viewing, your patience wears a little bit thin because you know where it's going anyway. So you're thinking to yourself, well, couldn't you get there a little bit quicker? couldn't you get there? Couldn't you
exactly what I was saying? Maybe I was a bit tired when I was watching it, and I didn't have the. I mean, maybe if I was watching like when I was totally fresh and eager to watch it, but Yeah. What else did I write in here? I said it's a very it pulls away from the supernatural elements in the story. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not that supernatural, is it? I mean, take it in totality, it's a supernatural movie, but it's not played that way at all, is it?
No, no. I
I mean,
mean,
for the first like hour and a bit, like until you get to the last act,
yeah,
you can just play it as a non-supernatural movie completely, and
absolutely.
it would be absolutely exactly the same. It's just literally like the last few things that happen, kind of
Yeah,
put a twist on it and make it supernatural. I guess same with Rosemary's Babies. I guess is exactly the same, isn't it? All the stuff's just weird shit happening and weird people, and then at the end, they put a supernatural twist on it, which kind of retcons the whole thing as a supernatural movie. Does that
yeah,
make
yeah.
sense?
It does. It does. I mean, in Rosemary's Baby, obviously halfway through, you do get that dream sequence where she's not, which is
That's
ultimately
that's true.
her rape, right?
And she even says, "I'm not dreaming. This is real. This is happening."
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah, totally. Do you know it was a strange one? I was late to the party with Rosemary's Baby. I only watched it for the first time maybe 3 years ago, something like that, and
okay,
blew me away. Right enough, I just didn't expect it to be that good. I didn't expect it to be that enthralled by it. But I love that flick, and certainly that dream sequence feels homage, let's say, at the end of House of the Devil, right enough. When all this is going down for
definitely influence. Yeah,
Samantha, I was
totally.
thinking of that scene, right enough. The supernatural aspect to this movie really is in the last 5 minutes of the movie. Just like you say, everything else, it could be a cult movie, it could be a stalker movie. You don't quite know, but I do like the little things that happen. When she goes into that cupboard and she finds the black bag, and then she opens the black bag and she sees the family there standing next to the same car that Tom Noonan's character put in, and she's like, "Well, where the fuck's the family?" And obviously, you as the viewer, you're like, "Well, Tom Noonan's clearly killed these people." And moved into their house where they've essentially got you exactly where you want you, So all this kind of impending doom, for Samantha it's all kind of written on the wall for her, bless her, and she just rattles around and waits for it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at the end of the movie, it pretty much goes bad for everybody, for the villains and the hero. It just goes bad for everybody. Everything nothing works out at the end.
No.
So
Totally.
yeah, I think I'm going to give that movie, even though I had a lot more negatives than you did. I would still, I'll give it a 7 as well.
Yeah,
because
I think it's a good mark. I think that's.
I think there's a lot to admire in that movie. Like just technically, I think there's a lot to admire. And if it were just pacing was a bit better in that first half, I think I would like it a lot more. But I mean, that's particular with me. I'm just one of those dudes that if I'm not like completely drawn in, and I was drawn in to some extent, just not as much as other movies. I think if they'd leaned a bit harder on the supernatural bit, I might have been in there a bit earlier and a bit deeper in there to not really mind. Yeah, I would not really mind that it is slow at the beginning. But yeah, it's definitely my favorite Ty West movie.
I would say for me as well.
Right, shall we get these comments?
Let's do the comments. Vassia, 7 out of 10 each. It's not often we agree like that. I like it. It's a good start.
There you go. I think I was expecting a high mark from you, to be like a grade from you. I'm surprised when you said 7. I thought it's going to give it a 7.5 grade. The way he was talking about.
I thought, to be honest with you, mate, when you're doing all these marks out of 10 and you're doing your notes and stuff like that, I don't know if it's the same for you. You have to put it in perspective with the other movies also that you've seen, this week as well. If that makes any sense, but it's a solid 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10 for me. An enjoyable 7 out of 10. So no, happy with that, and I think actually the movie is genuinely a 7 out of 10 movie. It's like a B+ movie. It's not perfect by no means, but it's it's full marks for effort.
Yeah, super decent. Yeah. Right. Dave said, they used to play surgery stuff in the morning on TV over here in the USA at times, and I would totally cringe flipping away from it. Yeah. I know the feeling. Dave says, Ollie, so I haven't seen this movie, House of the Devil, yet. I'll have to check it out at some point. Yeah, it's definitely a good watch. Definitely good watch. Tom Noonan says was also in a great episode of the TV show The Equalizer back in the 80s. I used to watch that. Plus, he was in RoboCop 2 as the bad guy, which I got to see at the theaters.
I saw RoboCop 2.
Nice. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that before.
Yeah.
I hate that kid in RoboCop 2, man. He's so annoying.
He's a dick, man. Yeah, he's a dick. He gets killed in it though. Yeah, he gets killed in it. You're supposed to feel sorry for him when he's all shot and that, and you're like, nah, your previous antics have rubbed your character null and void.
Right.
Exactly. No, screw that kid.
Yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the first one, man. It's RoboCop 2. It's a little bit too mean spirited. It's RoboCop 2. I think they all the best stuff in RoboCop. I think they just didn't get it right in the second one. They have a lot of the same sort of beats in there, but I just don't think they got it right, and it doesn't have that same feeling as the first one. I mean, the first one's so classic, isn't it?
They didn't have Verhoeven, you know. If you haven't got Verhoeven and you try and be satirical, you're not going to get it Verhoeven right, you know.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So we're on Tuesday, and Tuesday's movie was my favorite movie of the week.
Yes.
My favorite movie of the week. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, 1997, Vas, 1997. And the reason why I say 1997 like that is because the special effects are so fucking good in this film. So
yeah, it totally still holds up, man.
Fucking right. You know, I watched it with my family. I'm saying I watched it with the family, and my missus, she was saying, that still looks bloody good. My kids actually put the phones down and they watched this movie, and if your kids put the phones down, that the movie's fucking good. Like
it's a kick-ass movie, man. It's a crowd pleaser. Honestly, I mean, it's one of those movies where if they haven't seen it and they watch it, they'll be like totally entertained, man. This is a kick-ass movie.
Absolutely. I mean, well, the setup for this film is essentially there is a big old spaceship called the Event Horizon. And what the Event Horizon does, it creates a black hole in space, which means it can leap through the black hole and therefore kind of shortening its distance between point A and point B, very much like Seth Brundle's The Fly. But it's a big spaceship rather than two little pods. Okay, so what happens is the Event Horizon jumps, but it goes missing for how many years is it missing? 8 years, I think. 8 years, and then all of a sudden it just turns back up in the orbit of Neptune, floating there, and nobody knows where it's been.
What's happened to the crew or anything?
What's happened to the crew or anything like that? So what they do is the company, this kind of nameless company, they get together a rescue team, and it's the team of the Lewis and Clark, headed by the awesome Lawrence Fishburne, who is their El Capitano. And they get him to basically take the Lewis and Clark out to the Event Horizon and investigate what's been going on, where the crew is, etc., etc. And for this journey, they take on a passenger. That passenger is Sam Neill, who actually designed the Event Horizon. So he's got plenty of personal stake in this situation. So he's keen to get on board and find out what has happened to the crew, where it's been, and what it's brought back with it. And that is the setup for Event Horizon, but it kind of doesn't go anywhere near it because it's that good. So I'll give you a little bit of... So it's directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. So quite a famous filmmaker. I don't think he's the best filmmaker ever. I think he's made a lot of bang average films. I'm going to say 4 and 5 out of 10 movies. So this one here is an anomaly, and you have to wonder, is it really Paul W.S. Anderson's film? Because rumor has it he got locked out of the editing room. Anyway, whether it is his movie or not, I'm pleased that it's such a perfect, fantastical mistake. It's just in his other movies, he doesn't seem to bring this quality to the table that's on show in this movie. So it's a bit of an anomaly for me. Okay, so trivia. The budget for this movie was 60 million, which is a cracking budget. However, It was a disappointment at the box office because it only brought Claude back 42 million. But what happened was it got released.
I paid my money. I paid my ticket to watch it at the cinema.
Yeah,
and I was super happy with it.
What happened was it went to DVD and sales started rocketing and that kind of thing. And it's really kind of found its home, very much like John Carpenter's The Thing. It's found its home on home video, and it's got itself quite a decent following these days. Let me see. Initially, when Paul W.S. Anderson handed in his cut of the movie, it was 130 minutes long. The test audiences and the studio deemed it way too violent. So the studio asked for the movie to be recut and ordered 30 minutes to be taken off the running time and the violence to be toned down. Anderson believes he cut 10 minutes too much, like because he was on a tight schedule for, prepping for his next movie, and he basically says, I've overcut it. I don't know how you do that, but like I say, the rumor is that he got locked out of the editing room as well. Let me see. 2019, Adam Wynyard, Amazon, and Paramount Pictures announced that they were developing a TV show based on the Event Horizon. To this point, nothing has actually happened with that, but it's in the pipe. You never know. I'd kind of like to see that. Right, okay.
Me too,
what I like, and I've just wrote here, I love this movie. It's not perfect, but it's not a million miles away either. The look of Event Horizon is fantastic. I think aesthetically it's actually quite a beautiful movie to look at. The scene setting is it's very meticulous. So there's a really great shot at the start of the movie where there's a few good shots at the start of the movie like this, where the camera zooms in through spaceship windows or zooms all back out into space. So you can see this space station. It's constantly revolving. It's technically very, very good. And I like a bit of technical brilliance in front of me old peepers. So I was appreciative of that. I thought the score and the sound design were first class in this movie. There's a scene where, and it's my favorite scene in the movie, where Lawrence Fishburne puts his head against a wall in the Event Horizon, and he sees this flash, and he just turns and he looks around like this. And you can hear these echoey whispers, really fucking scary noises, just ever so chilling in the background. And he just says, God help us. And that gets the old hairs on the back of my neck going up when he says, God help us. And that's a mark of a good bloody movie, man, when your hairs go up on the back of your neck, right enough. Special effects are great and still hold up. The rampant of dread aspects of the script, and the performances, especially Lawrence Fishburne, again, his lines, God help us, they awesome. Let me see. And also, it's bloody violent when it wants to be as well. It's, it's gory too. There are some scenes where you think you're clearly watching cut material, which is a shame. And I wanted it to be a little bit gorier, but it doesn't take anything away from the flow and the ride of the movie. So I'm all right with that too. Yeah. So the violence is really good. And, my final positive here, and there are a lot more positives, but my final positives, I've got to give a really big shout out to Sam Neill in this fucking movie. He's great. He's great. He's like,
amazing.
Miller, I got a problem down here. And he's shitting himself, you know what I mean? I'm like, that is brilliant, right? That is brilliant. And obviously, the Event Horizon there, some of the sound bites are like, don't leave me. Yeah. Brilliant, man. It shouldn't be funny, but it's funny. Right. Things I didn't like, okay? And there's not many. Well, there's only two things I put. Jolie Richardson's casting. I think she's miscast in this movie. She just doesn't work for me. Some of her line delivery and everything like that. She's maybe too English for the dialogue that she's spouting out. Not her fault.
You want the answers? It's the only one I've got.
Exactly, mate. Exactly.
Yeah. It's nice to look at, though. She's very nice to look at.
Mate, absolutely. It's not her fault. I just think she's miscast in this movie. And finally, do you know where the female doctor, I can't remember her name, but she falls following the ghost of a kid or the mirage of a child. She falls and she dies she hits the ground to her death. That's exactly where the scene should end for me. But they just have that meandering couple of seconds of the little boy looking over the thing going, and this really stupid music and that. And I'm like, fuck off, man. Get rid of that, man. There was no need for that shit. What is this? Hammer House of Horror? Get it to fuck. So that one little bit needs to go for me, while Paul W.S. Anderson was fucking chopping away. He left that bit in, man. What a dick. So yeah. But then my only two gripes, and they are little gripes, mate. I love Event Horizon. This movie is a solid 9 out of 10 picture for me. And that's
very good, Pete. Awesome. I'm glad you. I mean, I already knew you loved it as much as I do. I've told this story before, but my best cinema going experience I've ever had in my whole life was watching Event Horizon. When I watched it when I was at uni, we watched it in this awesome cinema called the Pictureville in Bradford, and I went to see that movie. I had no idea what it was about or anything about it. I just sat down and watched it, and honestly, the cinema was so good, literally, and the bass on this movie is powerful, man. My speakers rattle when this movie is on, like the sound effects. And I remember when I was watching it, the seats were shaking as like the ship was going past or whatever. The sheets were, and you couldn't stop yourself from jumping. Every kind of bit where it was like a loud noise happens, I couldn't stop myself from jumping, man. I had such a good time watching that movie. I was by myself as well, but it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I had a fantastic time watching that film. I'm so glad I saw that at the cinema. Yeah, I agree with you, Pete. This movie is it's badass from beginning to end. Right from the opening credits where you get the Paramount logo, and I'm a sucker for for logos in movies where the movie kind of joins in with the logo. I love that, man. I love it when they do that.
Me too, mate.
Like in the Burbs where it's the Universal logo and it goes down into the Mayfield place and in the stuff like that, man. I love it. And I love the music of this movie, the orbital bit at the beginning. That it just gets you ready for the movie. And at the end, when Prodigy kicks in, I mean, it's a perfect song, perfect tune to be playing at the end of Event Horizon, because that's exactly how you're feeling. Yeah, when you're thinking, "Oh my god, that was some funky shit, man." Honestly, man, that's the way to end the movie.
No. Oh, but by the way, I forgot one more negative, right? It's the sedative guy right at the end. The sedative guy, right? So Jolie Richardson's just woken up out of a dream from a dream and all this and blah, 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 blah. And the real rescuers are there. And there's this one guy and the director must have said, yeah, listen, yell that she needs a sedative, right? And we'll just pan the camera away and that'll be the end of the movie. But he takes a fucking eternity for the camera to pan back and the doors to close. It literally takes an eternity. So he goes, yeah, we need a sedative over here now. And then he waits another 8 seconds. And bearing in mind, there's two people in the room, right? And the static, they're not moving at all, right? And then he goes, about 10 seconds later, he's got, is the fucking movie finished yet? No, it's not. Yeah, I need another sedative right here now. And he ends up having to say it about 3 or 4 times, man. And then finally the movie finishes and it goes, but yeah, it's the sedative guy. He only needed to say that shit once, man, not 3 times.
I never noticed, man. Honestly, at that point, I totally didn't notice that.
But not the orbital bit, mate, because it's like it's awesome. Like,
yeah, man. You know what's funny, Pete? I wrote the exact opposite to you. I said Lawrence Fishburne. I don't think he really suits his role in this movie. I didn't think he was that good in this movie. I've got to say, Pete, I was quite surprised when you were saying that he was so cool in this movie. I don't know. I thought he felt a bit uncomfortable.
He says cool shit, like
he does say cool shit, and but I don't know. I was like, he was the only character where I wasn't like, where I don't know. I just wasn't that invested into his character as I was with even like the smaller characters around him of the crew. He was the one that was like a bit, I mean, he holds it together well. It's just I wasn't that impressed with him, to be honest. I don't know.
I like him.
Even when he tells the story, when he's telling stories about where his crewmate got burned up and the zero fire, I just wasn't buying anything he was saying. I don't know, man. Pete, I'm surprised you said you liked him so much. I thought he was what it was. I expected him to be better in this than he was.
Right.
So it wasn't bad. I just thought he was going to be better because I remember I was a big fan of Lawrence Fishburne back there, like from Boys in the Hood and Deep Cover. Like everything he was doing, he was just making cracking movies, and he was always like super cool. But in this one, no. I mean, but he does have good lines. Like, "We're leaving." That's like that's exactly what you would say if you were the captain of the movie at that the ship and the movie at that point. You would be saying, "Get the fuck out of here, man."
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's got those moments that of real kind of creepiness where the Liberate Me translation scene is kick-ass. Like it really hits all the horror notes. And the movie does hit the bloody horror notes. It's a proper horror film, like, and it's it's got scares, it's got chills, it's got action.
I'm gonna say, Pete, I reckon this might be the best action horror film ever made, because putting horror and action together is difficult, man. But this movie, it's got action in it. Like, it's got a good amount of action in it. But this, I've never seen it done better. Like, the horror bits, proper horror, like suspenseful, scary stuff, and the action bit is like exhilarating to watch. It's thrilling, like explosions and like running away from fireballs and all that business, man. It's like proper, like, get your blood pumping.
I would agree with you, but someone's probably going to chuck aliens in the mix. Yeah.
Actually, you might be right with aliens. But to be honest, you know what? Yeah, you're right, mate, Pete. That aliens is a better one. Yeah.
But listen, let's not take anything away from Event Horizon.
No,
like I say, I think it's a wonderful mistake by Paul W.S. Anderson. I think Paramount probably played it absolutely spot on and made the movie into something else. I think the movie is a product of its editing rather than its direction or anything like that. But it bloody holds up, and it actually gets better and better and better. And there's not many movies that I can say that about that get better. And Event Horizon.
I mean, you talk about the editing, Pete, but I mean, I reckon there's not a wasted minute in this movie, man. It's like there's no padding at all in this movie. It's all there's stuff happening all the time. It's like everything is building up all the time, and like they always like this. You're never more than a couple of minutes away from like a really, really good scene.
Yeah,
like it's pretty amazing. Like, you don't see that very often. I mean,
even
something like Aliens. When you think about it, it takes about half an hour to get to the aliens in Aliens, doesn't it? I mean, it's a big long sequence, like when they're up in the ship, in the spaceship, and then they come down. And anyway, it's a good 30-40 minutes before you see any aliens in that. But this movie, it's like right from the get-go, it's like it just flies through. I mean, the pacing on this movie, I think, is pretty amazing. Even it's lean and mean.
It is lean and mean, and it's breezy. And I would love to see the footage that we're never ever going to see, because apparently it's damaged and all that business. But I would have loved to have seen the ultraviolet 130-minute cut. But I could, if I was a betting man, I would probably say that it wasn't a patch on the movie that we've got today. So fair enough, I can live with that. But I would, the horror fan in me would have liked that scene where they de-scramble the message and they see the carnage. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of what was going on there. But hey,
I think I read somewhere Bob Keane did the effects for those scenes, and he did Hellraiser as well in it, because it is very Hellraiser, those bits, and they got Bob Keane to do it, so that makes sense.
No, definitely, mate, definitely. But no, I mean, I like it, and there's so much more stuff here that we could literally do a full stream on Event Horizon, because there's that much good stuff in there. Like Sam Neill and his whole storyline with his wife killing herself and stuff like that. That's a fucking horrific scene, man. And the way
Sam Neill's my favorite part of this movie. I think he's about 40% of what I love about this movie is Sam Neill, because every time he's on screen, man, he just kills it, man. He's so good. And you're right, his lines, like I don't know, he's like one of my favorite actors, man. It's like if Sam Neill and horror in a horror film, I'm in. It doesn't matter. I'm in. I would never ever miss that, because he's just so good, man.
Totally, mate. Totally.
And this movie's got awesome jump scares as well, like proper good ones.
It does.
Yeah, and a lot of it's just like it's like part of the movie, like just like the way the camera moves and camera shots. You don't normally see like jump scares just with camera movements. Like it's just like taking you like introducing a scene, or taking you cutting between two scenes, and like something will happen and it'll go, ooh, it'll give you a jolt, and you're like, bloody hell, that was cool. And it's like and there's like no characters involved in it at all.
And
Yeah, it's amazing. And
a lot of the,
explosions are done super well.
yeah,
Very exciting
And
explosions in the movie.
the sound design in the movie just 100% is awesome, mate. You know, the thunder that's constantly in the background,
Fantastic. Yeah.
it just ripples around your speakers. I've got one of them them Sonos Play, and it's got Dolby Atmos, and it Event Horizon loves my Dolby Atmos speaker, it was great. Like, you know what I mean? It was really nice, ever so subtle. And then the bass you can feel wobbling off it, and like everything, like you said. But now the sound design of that movie is absolutely classic. Like, you know, every penny of the budget, most of it is on screen. You know, they'll have paid a couple of quid for Lawrence Fishburne, but you know, as far as the other cast, they were all relatively unknown. So everything else is up on the screen for us to enjoy. Right?
I mean, they've done that perfectly. Yeah, they've done it perfectly. Like having a haunted house movie in space and still being able to have the bloody thunder and lightning in there, even though they're in space, and it totally makes sense. That's so amazing.
Totally. And
I mean, who would have thought they could do that?
No, exactly. Well, they were in the orbit of Neptune. You see, they were in the orbit of Neptune.
I mean, it totally makes sense.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say was, well, I think a part of the reason why, you know, more people didn't see it in the cinema, for me, I thought the marketing for this movie was dreadful. They didn't know how to market this movie.
Yeah.
You know, I remember seeing the TV trailers, the TV spots for it, and it was just Lawrence Fishburne running down a corridor with the flames after him. And, you know, what's that about? You know, you know what I mean? It told you nothing about what this movie for. Now, if they'd have said, well, this is The Shining in space, or this is, you know, this has got Exorcist beats in there, you know what I mean? We really want to make a scary haunted house movie in space. You know, tell the world. Because then they'll go and see the movie. So it was just, I mean, Paramount aren't great at marketing movies, you know.
If anything, it was undermarketed, because I remember when it came out, I went to see it because it's a horror film, and at that time, if it was a horror film out in the cinema, I would go see it. But it wasn't marketed very well, because I didn't know what the hell it was about when I went to see it, and it was like. Normally it's like you see adverts everywhere, but I remember when it came out, it was like it was barely, it kind of came and went so quickly. There was no build up or anything. It just kind of came and then went, and it was like never even made like a blip. It just kind of just went.
Yeah,
which was
I mean, what I would say about Event Horizon is I'm really looking forward to the 4K release of it. I bet it, you know, looks and sounds beautiful, so I can't wait to buy that. But if, you know, any of you guys out there haven't watched the extra features on the Blu-rays that you've got of it, or the DVDs about the making of Event Horizon, I think the making of Event Horizon is on YouTube as well. It's just a really interesting watch, because it's effectively a story about a director, you know, getting kicked off his own movie once he's made it, essentially, you know. And it's you know, it's you feel for Paul Anderson in this documentary, and, you know, the way things transpire and stuff. But, you know, he'll say now, you know, it's my favorite movie. I think he has said it's his favorite movie that he's ever made. Blah 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 blah. And, you know, quite right. I'm just not so sure.
It's his only excellent movies made. He's not actually made any movies that would say are excellent movies, but that's the only one he's done. So I'm proud of it.
Yeah, totally. But
the only thing I'll say, Pete, the last thing go on.
Oh, I was going to say, I was just going to say, you know, yes, he's proud of it, but you have to wonder how much of it is him, if that makes any sense. Is his sensibility, given the cut that we got or that we consume, is so vastly different to what he submitted. But right, sorry, I interrupted you, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, the only last thing I was going to say before I went to the comments was, I think Event Horizon, if it had come out at a different time and they had made it into a 3D movie, I think it would have been awesome, because I don't know, when I was watching it, I was thinking if this was in 3D, it would be fantastic, because there's loads of stuff like coming at you at the screen all the time, like in zero gravity and stuff. This would make an awesome 3D movie, man. I would love to see that.
It would lend itself to 3D very well. You know, I'm quite surprised they've not done a conversion of it. I mean, I think it's relatively easy to do 3D conversions, you know, but and there's definitely a market for it. You know, Event Horizon is one of the movies very much like The Thing, where you bring a new edition of the movie out and the fans will go and double dip, and they'll go and buy the new edition in the hope of seeing something new, some of that extra, you know, footage or whatever. That they will always double dip. So, But what are you giving that one out of 10, Vass?
I'm gonna give it a 9.5. You're right, it's almost perfect, and I
Yeah.
love it, man. I absolutely love it. It's like one of those movies where I can watch any time and have just an awesome time. It like cheers me up watching that movie. It's like it's one I know I'm just gonna get like, it's gonna just put me in a good mood because it's just so much fun and I enjoy it so much. Yeah, easy 9.5, 9.5. S tier, right up there, S tier.
S
without a doubt.
tier movie of the
Don't
week.
like
for
Event
me.
Horizon. Something wrong with you, mate. That's all I have to say. You don't know what
Exactly.
I'm talking about. You've lost my respect. Right, let's get back to these comments. How far? Oh God, there's a few comments here. Like, Tom Noonan. Have we had this one? Oh yes, he was
we
an
got that one.
equalizer. Yes, he was. That kid wasn't like, yeah, that kid in RoboCop 2, man, so annoying. Although to be fair, most kids in movies are annoying. I'm always impressed when you watch a movie with kids in and they're not annoying. You're like, oh wow, that's quite impressive that the kids aren't annoying because they normally are.
That's true.
Oh, there we go. The opening shot ate a lot of the budget.
I can imagine that
on Event Horizon, I guess.
Yeah, I can imagine that because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful shot.
Production design is just like, it's brilliant.
It's like it's cross between Alien and a gothic, House of Horror type deal. Some of the set designs.
Chucking a bit of Hellraiser in there, and then you got your movie, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I do. If I made a movie, man, I would get all the favorite bits I like. I'll have some Shining and some Alien and some Hellraiser, some The Haunting, and mix them up all together and come out with something like that's so brilliant. I think that's what Paul Anderson did. He just
did.
Grab all those things together and check this out. And that's it.
To be fair, he's kind of some of the shots in Event Horizon. There's one directly out of Alien where the lady who's following her son who to her death, she climbs up a set of stairs and a hand goes above the stair, and that's a shot from Alien. It's the exact same shot from Alien where Ripley, she's got Jonesy the cat. And she's scared. She goes up a set of stairs and she puts a hat there, and then she peers up over it. It's the same shot. But do you know what? If you're gonna, I'm not gonna say rip stuff off, but if you're gonna be inspired from stuff, then you can't really go wrong getting inspired from Alien. and you might as well rip off the best. So fair play.
Totally, yeah. Let's have a look. Dave says, I saw the first one also in the theaters, and I love that one a little bit better than part 2. This is RoboCop, but I thought part 2 was great fun, especially the stop motion animation. Yeah, I like stop motion animation in movies. I think it's like a weird thing you don't see much anymore, but it's nice to see.
I'm still getting over basket case stop motion animation. Awesome, mate.
And it works, though. It does work. Dave says I give RoboCop a 9 out of 10. Wicked, man.
Quite right.
And the second one an 8.5. I'll give it a little bit less than 8.5. Okay. I don't like saying this, but I'm quite a big fan of RoboCop 3. I think it's a decent film. I like it quite a lot. I like those ninjas. The robot ninjas.
Yeah, I've never seen RoboCop 3. I've never seen.
Have you ever seen RoboCop 3?
No.
Robo Team does the effects on that movie, man.
Does he?
Yeah, it's worth watching just for the robot ninjas, isn't it?
I do need to check it out. It's just, I remember it being a 15, and I remember it getting really slated, and I thought, "Fuck, this isn't the same RoboCop."
Everyone complains about that. The first 2 are 18s, and the third one's a 15. But it's a good movie, and it's all right, just as an action movie with RoboCop in. Not wrong with it, mate. In my opinion,
okay.
I'm in the minority there. I'll admit that. Okay. Dave says part 3 was okay-ish. A 6.5 out of a Bushi 10. Look, I'd agree with. I'll give him a 6.5. That's a good mark. A school friend, Mark Shepard, even played an extra as a bum in that movie too.
Nice.
Hobo type street person down south where they filmed that.
Magic.
Video Tasty say he saw Event Horizon at the cinema too. Come on. There's a surprise, yeah. Only casual horror fans didn't. Ricky says, here we go again. Horror 2 of the month, yeah. What would happen if you rated Ju-On with the 2003 remake? I hate the remake of The Grudge, man.
Is that like one Sarah Michelle Gellar, yeah?
Yeah, I saw that the pictures, and I like the first one. I like the original so much. I remember we were big fans of that, weren't we, when it came out?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was
I need
so,
to.
I was
I
so
was going to say
disappointed.
I need to dig it out and show it to my daughter. It's I realized the other day she hasn't seen Jean the Grudge, so I thought
Yeah, that's another one that's actually quite slow when you think about it. It is quite slow, but you know,
Yeah.
it's the payoffs in that movie, man, are so good. I mean, they're
Well,
like bone-chillingly scary,
absolutely.
like endings to each little vignette that's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's not many better scares in any horror film, in my opinion, than in
Agreed.
Ju-on.
Agreed. And you even get fucked up in your own bed. There is no escape from from this particular curse.
Exactly.
Like,
Oh, Sean's here. What's up, Sean, man? I'm doing very well, mate. Thank you very much. Nice to see you here. Dave says, when I saw the movie 2010 in theaters, whole front of the theater was doing that similar seemingly sounding vast. It was rumbling and like that when the shuttle took off, almost the front theater. Yeah,
wow.
it makes a difference when they like put attention to like making a movie like an experience to watch.
100% quality.
Yeah. I've got to say, Pete, have you got a movie where you like where you have like a surround sound system, you have a big TV, and you want to show it off? What's the movie you put on, or what's the scene in what movie that do you put on?
Oof.
Do you have one?
Do I have a movie with? Yeah, Event Horizon would be one of them. I have to say because
I've done it myself, mate. I've put it on, saying check this out, and put a scene from that on. Yeah, but to be honest, the one I always used to put on when I was a kid, and this is when I had one of those CRT TVs, but I used to have a surround sound as well, like an amp. I used to put on Blown Away, you know, the big explosion at the end of Blown Away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because it's got like 1,000,001 different bands.
Yeah,
in
man.
there,
I used to put that sucker on, man, like on repeat. Sometimes I just sit and watch it myself, just that explosion at the end, and I would just watch it over and over again because it was like, I love a good explosion, man. That's one of the best.
Quite. I mean, other movies that I would do it, mate, would be like one would be Kung Fu Hustle, and the other one would be a bit of Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is a film I'm not hugely enamored with, but visually and sound design wise, it's the bomb. Like, but but I think probably Event Horizon would be one of them because of all that atmospheric thunder and all that kind of rumblings in the background. It has you know, like the fog all the way through the movie. It pretty much has that horn going through in the back of the movie. Event Horizon has that, but with rippling thunder. It's a character in this movie, and you know. I've got a question about Event Horizon before we move on, mate. Right? You know, at the end, right, where he splits the fucking ship in two, and Lawrence Fishburne goes to hell with Sam Neill, right? Which is quite sad, man. Quite sad. He has to go to hell.
Miller.
You're not Miller. I watched him die. Oh, okay, I'm Sam Neill. The ship brought me back. Right, anyway. What was I going to say? Yeah. So does the front of the ship immediately become unhaunted? Is that right? Because the whole ship's alive, And does the front of the ship, is it not alive anymore? Or is it just the other bit that went because that was the heart of the ship?
Yeah, I think once they separated the actual that big thing that spins around, once that's away, I think the rest is fine. I would think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they did dock with the Event Horizon, so it was kind of connected to the Event Horizon, their little vessel that they docked. Yeah. So that should be haunted as well, shouldn't it? But it wasn't.
True.
I don't know, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, true. I never thought of it.
Let's not spoil the movie for ourselves, man, Pete.
That's true. That's true.
It deserves better than nitpicking.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Ricky says, "Hey, do you guys think you can talk about Event Horizon a bit more? Think you only flicked over." Let's rush the next few. We like this movie. Good comment, Ricky. Dave, I remember when it came out, all the critics are very mixed about Event Horizon. I give it a little too familiar feeling at times, but still great fun. An 8.5 out of boosted 10. Yeah, I can live with that, man. Yeah, we did spend on. Actually, there's a few things I want to talk about, which we'll leave for another time. And let's move on to Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. Wednesday's movie was Drag Me to Hell.
Absolutely.
Let me just get rid of that comment. No, that's the wrong one. That's Drag Me to Hell. There you go.
Right. So, let's have a look here. Right, Alison Lohman, in this movie, she essentially works in a bank. She's quite a nice person. She wants to be everybody's friend and not really make anybody mad or anything like that. Which is quite reminiscent to quite a lot of people that I work with. Myself, I think everybody's like that at some point or other. She doesn't really want to break any bad news or anything like that. But there's this promotion at her bank, and her boss has said, in order to get this promotion, I want to see you making more difficult decisions. So her first opportunity, and as it turns out, last opportunity to make one of these difficult decisions, is when an old gypsy woman comes into her bank asking for an extension on her mortgage because the bank are about to foreclose and she's about to be kicked out of her own property that she's lived in for the last 30 years. Now, Alison Lohman initially is swayed by this gypsy, especially because she's crying and stuff like that, that she thinks, well, listen, I'll go and have a word with the manager and I'll see what I can do. And she goes and has a chat with the manager, and halfway through the chat with the manager quite keenly turns around and says, well, listen, it's your call. So she thinks, well, no, I've got to start making these difficult decisions. So she goes back to the old gypsy lady and says, unfortunately, there's nothing I can do for you. You've had extensions on your loan already, and that's the way it's going to be. So you're going to lose your home, unfortunately. Then the gypsy lady begs and begs and begs and begs, which is very embarrassing for our main character, up to a point where she actually says, stop it, enough. And then the old gypsy lady turns around and goes,
You shamed me.
You shame me. And then proceeds to follow it down into the car park, where she steals a personal item off Alison Lohman's character and pops a gypsy curse on her. When the gypsy curse essentially means that that at some point, I think it's 3 days after being haunted by a strange goat-type demon, she will be dragged into hell. Hence the title, Drag Me to Hell. And that's the setup for this. So this is directed by Sam Raimi. We all know who Sam Raimi is. So there's really no point in going into what Sam Raimi's done, but he's a bit of a film genius. I think we all would agree on that. Trivia. At times, yeah, fair enough. Trivia on this one: it was written in 1992 after basically Sam Raimi and Ivan Raimi had wrapped Army of Darkness. That's when they wrote this. But Sam Raimi went on to do. Yeah. Sam Raimi went on to do bigger and bigger movies like Spider-Man, so it kind of went on the back burner. And I think I'm thinking, and again, I haven't read this, but I'm wondering, once the Spider-Man 3 thing happened, then maybe Sam probably picked it up and blew some dust off that script and said, let's get this down.
What year was Spider-Man 3? Do you know? Do you remember?
I don't off the top of my head. Maybe one of the guys in the chat can help me out with that one. Let me see. The Gypsy's number plate in the movie is 99951. Upside down, it says is 666, or is the devil, essentially. Apparently that's a bit of trivia there for you. Yeah. Bruce Campbell turned down a role in this movie because he was very busy doing Burn Notice at this time. So normally he appears in Sam Raimi films, but he actually turned this one down. The budget was 30 million for this movie, but it went on to make 90.8 million. So it was a huge hit, a good money earner.
I remember it did well.
Yeah, definitely. I think I went to cinema to see this one as well. Yeah, I did, because it came out on May the 29th, my birthday. So it was my birthday movie. I treated myself to a Sam Raimi horror film. That's pretty cool there. But
Nice.
what I liked, what I liked is it's a typical Sam Raimi film where he's in horror film floor. So it's fast paced, it's fun, it's frenetic, it's stylish. It's obviously gross as well. He goes for gross out quite a lot in this movie. Whether it's Alison Lohman getting gummed, she gets gummed quite a lot in this movie, man. There's a lot of mucus in this movie. There's a lot of snot. There's a lot of flies going in people's noses and shit like that. So he really goes for the gross.
She does get her ass kicked in this movie, doesn't she? To be fair, she gets her ass kicked in this movie.
Apparently, she did all her own around as well. Do you know Alison Lohman? No, she quit acting. I don't know if this movie
Yeah,
had.
I can't think of the last movie I saw, and to be honest,
Yeah,
after this one, I don't think I've seen her in
She's got like a
anything.
9 to 5 job. She quit acting. She said it wasn't for her. So maybe it had something to do with this movie, man. You never know. The overall, I thought the visuals are great. You know, quite a lot of the moments where there's lots of shadows on the wall, that kind of thing. You know, Sam Raimi's quite a good visual storyteller. And you know, the sound design with that is actually quite nice. I put down here Alison Lohman and Justin Long. They are a really nice couple in this movie. You know, you like them as a couple. Normally, you have this couple dynamic, and you don't like the boyfriend because he's a dick, or the girl's a little bit pushy or whatever. They actually really work as a couple in this one. You empathize with the pair of them. You want the pair of them to succeed. So I appreciated that. The Gypsy Curse storyline is a big bonus for me. You know, it's a great storyline. It loses me a little bit, you know, with the goat aspect a little bit, just a little bit, especially the talking goat that looks like a spitting image puppet. But the storyline generally of the Gypsy's curse works for me big time. And I've put here, you know, that ending. The ending's just, it's perfection for me. It packs such a punch. Once the appearance of this button makes its way into that final scene, that scene just goes 100 fucking miles an hour, and it packs a real punch because you see this girl, Alison Lohman, this character you've very much grown to love throughout the course of the movie, really getting it fucking tight, by the way. You know, fucking skin's all burnt off, raw, and all that. And Justin Long's face sells it.
He's devastated, isn't he? Can't believe it. Yeah,
devastated, absolutely. Because she falls on the train.
He realizes it's all real.
Yeah, she falls on the train tracks, and he sees straight away there's a train coming, and she's not getting off them train tracks. So he's already coming to terms with her impending death in that scene, and he relays that out in his voice and his performance, and it's great. Like, it gives that scene a massive impact, and it still bloody works. And the orchestral straw that just when you see Justin Long's face, and then it goes boom like that, and it dragged me to hell. And then the movie ends. You know, bravo! I think that's that end scene is absolutely perfect. Right, dislikes. Talking goat. Fucking no need for a talking goat in this fucking movie. And dare I say it, there's even no need for a man floating in the air going ding 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 ding.
Yeah, that was too much. Even I watched it with my wife, and she was like, "That's just pure comedy, that is." And I'm like, "That's Sam Raimi. That's what he does." Exactly. Yeah, he's got to stick something like that in something totally wacky and goofy.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So yeah, that didn't work for me.
Like floating in the air, like dancing away. Why? What was the point?
And my
scary walk before that.
I put it here. My final gripe is, and I've mentioned before, I really like Alison Lohman in this movie. I really like Alison Lohman in this movie. However, some of her line delivery, right, in this movie, the straight out of the Keanu Reeves book of acting, like, if you know, some of the way that she deadpans her lines, type of thing, don't really work. You know, even when she, you know, it's a really good line. She's in the car and that, and she's like, "I'm gonna get some," and it's like, yeah, next time you watch that movie, Vass, right? Just remember what I've said. Peter thinks that bitch sounds like Keanu Reeves, right? Watch it, think Keanu Reeves, and you'll see what I mean, right? Yeah. But like I said, it's a small gripe. I like her, but she's a bit Keanu Reeves. It's a bit like monotone, her delivery on quite a lot of her lines, type of thing. But she's ever so likable, don't get me wrong. But so is Keanu Reeves. In his movies, he's ever so likable too. Yeah. But I have given this movie a 7.5 out of 10. A solid 7.5 out of 10. It loses 2.5 points for the inclusion of really fucking stupid comedy that doesn't need to be there, to be fair.
Yeah, totally doesn't.
You know, it's tongue-in-cheek enough without having to have a talking goat and a dancing man. So yeah, that's me. 7.5 out of 10.
7.5. Right, all right, that's good. Right. I'll tell you before I tell my thoughts. Let's just go through some comments, just to keep it a bit more recent. Ricky says, "Drag Me to Hell" was some awesome fun, and when I watched it at the cinema, that old biddy with a dodgy eye was creepy as fuck. Yeah, she's a witchy looking gypsy, isn't she?
She is.
She's strong as well. She's like fights like a bloody, I don't know. She was like giving her something.
Totally. Even when she's dead,
like she was dying in the bank. She looked like she was like frail and dying in the bank, And then later on in the car park,
in
he's
the
like,
car.
"Come on!"
Totally. I really like that pan and shot where it's following the handkerchief in the back of the car, and then all of a sudden a silhouette of her is in the back of the car. It's really nice, that shot. Like, and who'd have thought we would watch a movie that?
It's like don't you think the handkerchief has got like a supporting role in the movie? The fucking handkerchief's all the way through the movie.
It absolutely does. It absolutely does.
Like half the movie, just the handkerchief's going do. Handkerchief, dude. Too much handkerchief. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Okay. Savage Zombie Review says Drag Me to Hell is so underrated. I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's a pretty popular film, to be honest. Dave says I bought it on DVD, Drag Me to Hell, many years ago. Previously viewed. I love Sam Raimi movies pretty much overall, but I didn't like this one much at all. Plus, the CGI was terrible. A 2 out of a boosty 10. He does not like this movie.
The CG is a bit ropey, right enough. I'll give him that. Yeah.
Savage Zombie Reviews 2007 was Spider-Man 3, right? Yeah.
Wow, there you go, 2009. So that
he doesn't make lots of movies, Sam Raimi, does he? Like, there's normally quite a big gap between his movies. Dave says I do like the lead, Alison Lohman. I just didn't like the thinner kind of knockoff story, and the effects are terrible. But then again, it's just my opinion.
Do you know, I was thinking about Thinner when I was watching this movie as well. I was thinking about Thinner because I'd only recently seen Thinner, and it reminded me a bit of Drag Me to Hell, right enough.
Isn't Carrie Wura beautiful in that movie as the gypsy girl?
She's bloody is, mate. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. She's got quite a bad attitude, but I don't mind that, man. I'll take a bad attitude.
I don't mind it at all.
Grr.
Savage Zombie Reviews. Hey everyone, hope all is going well. We are great, mate. Hope you're doing well as well. How are you, Dave, mate? Dave says, all good, mate. How are you doing? Hi, old AF. Doing okay-ish. Dave says, thanks to Vass on my PS4 on the YouTube watching Terrifier 2 in the semi background. Free too. Exactly, man. Terrifier 2 on the YouTube. Just go ahead and watch it. On the tube of you. Yeah, right. So Drag Me to Hell. I reckon I enjoy the film. I watched it a few times now. The first time I saw it, I was pretty disappointed, but I've got to just enjoy it as an enjoyable film. But I kind of think they've missed the trick with the movie, because I think if they'd played a bit more serious, they could have come out with a proper scary movie, because it's got like all those scenes where she's getting where you see all the shadows and everything. They're all quite spooky. Even the title sequence when it says "Drag Me to Hell," and at the end, it reminds me of Insidious. I don't know. I feel like it's got a little bit of an Insidious vibe to the movie, but then he sticks all this comedy in there. And I thought if they played it a bit more straight, they could have had a crazy good scary movie with Drag Me to Hell. So I feel like they've he's gone in the wrong direction, Sam Raimi. But like that's just what he does, isn't it? I don't know why he likes putting goofy shit in his movies. Sometimes it works. I mean, even the 2 is perfect. It's a perfect film, but he just sticks it in everything, and I don't know. Sometimes he just misses the mark, and I think he did well enough, but I think it would have been much better without it. And like the eyeball scene, which is like a throwback to Evil Dead 2. You know, I like it, but you know, he's just doing it just for the sake of it. I don't know if do you like that scene? Evil
I like
Dead 2 bit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like it, mate, but you know you've seen it before. You know it's a nod. I mean, it felt like when I first watched Drag Me to Hell, it felt like Sam Raimi saying to his diehard Evil Dead 2 fans, "I'm back doing horror. I've had a shit time with the studio doing Spider-Man 3. I'm back." It almost felt like it was his kind of therapy movie, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. So there was nods there to his Evil Dead 2 fans and stuff like that. But you know, the Evil Dead 2, that gag works so well because it's practical. Where on this, it's, you know, let's be honest, PlayStation 3 CGI. It doesn't work, you know, as well, right enough. So that's where what draws you out of that stuff is the PlayStation 3 CG. It's kind of like that fucking Train to Busan Peninsula The fucking special effects in that
Totally,
movie,
man. Yeah.
quality as fuck, man. After the first movie was awesome, they went and put sort of, you know, like, what should we do? Well, I'll tell you what, get that guy who did that PS4 game, and we'll get him to do all the special effects for the movie. We'll do a car chase in PS4 graphics. Yeah, that's a good idea. Garbage, man. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Drag me to hell, Bass.
You know, I'm a fan of Sam Raimi. Like, I know he can make like movies that are so like Evil Dead 2 is like one of my favorite movies ever, and I love Darkman and the first Evil Dead. But then he goes the way. I mean, some people like Army of Darkness more than it's like their favorite one. But I can see that the stuff he does, it does. I don't know, like the flourishes he uses in the technical wizardry and all the camera work he does.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he's done it as well as he has done it in Evil Dead 2. I like seeing it. Honestly, I really do like watching, because I love stylish movies, and his movies are always stylish. But I'm still yet waiting to see Sam Raimi do anything that's makes me like so as impressed as I was with Evil Dead 2. I don't think he's ever going to do it again. But I'm a bit sad about that, because like that's the only S tier movie I think Sam Raimi's made is Evil Dead 2. But I think but everything that's in that movie, it's like you want all movies to be like, all horror films to be like Evil Dead 2, like they should be, because it's like what he's done with that movie is just like so exceptional. But it's like he made it, and he's like, I'm saying, can I just do that again? Just do Evil Dead 2 a few more time before you retire. But I just see little flourishes, but I kind of like, I don't know. I'm happy to see it, but I'm like, oh, he could. Why is he not bringing it? I would just bring it back, Sam Raimi, but he just doesn't do it. So, but I do like the guy. I like him very, very much. I don't know, man.
No, so
it's good. He's got the flourishes. He's got his flourishes, but the comedy is, it goes too far. And I don't know. I think tonally it's wonky. It goes creepy, and then it goes like goofy, and I don't think that works together very well. But it's enjoyable. I mean, you're not going to get bored watching that film, not for a second. No. Yeah, and I did like the ending as well. The ending is pretty super cool. Like
it's awesome.
Even though it is sad. Like, I mean,
totally.
I like the way they play it. Like everything's going to be perfect, and then they just turn it around right at the end. You're like, and it's a proper gut punch at the end, isn't it? Like,
absolutely,
really, kind of like it's a good wallop to finish a movie with.
Yeah, totally. You walk out.
I think I'm going to give it. I'll give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7.
Solid.
Sam Raimi can do better. I think he can do much, much better.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's go on to the next movie, and that was. I'm very, very interested for this one, Pete, from you, and it is Demons, 1985.
Demons. Okay. So, right, Demons 1985. What's the setup for this movie? So, the setup for this movie essentially is, there it is.
That's your copy, that Pete, that you give me. Yeah, that's your exact copy. Last, you want Demons? I don't want to watch this anymore. Do you want to
take it out of my house? Demons 1985. The setup for this movie is essentially this very strange man with a mask, walking about different places of the city of Belgium, handing out free tickets for a new movie that's coming to the Metropole Cinema, inviting people for the premiere of said movie. So the girl that we meet in the train in the first scene, she gets a ticket, as do a bunch of other people. He even gives a ticket to a blind guy as well. So you've got to question his selectivity there. You know what I mean? Maybe that, I'm just saying, nothing against blind people or anything like that, but maybe he's not going to get much out of this experience. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, he gives a bunch of tickets out to a bunch of different folk. They turn up at this cinema, and in the foyer of the cinema is this kind of a, I don't know what it is. It's a statuette on a bike with a mask. and in walks in a pimp and his bitches. And the pimp's really cool in this movie, by the way.
Pimp's
But
awesome, man. He's so good.
yeah, the pimp and his bitches
That's
walk
the bullshit. Yeah.
exactly.
I love it.
And one of his bitches, she says, "Well, I'm going to try that mask on because that's just how I roll." So she tries the mask on, and what do you know? She cuts a little face, just a little nick on her face, and she says, "Oh, well, that's peculiar. We'll put the mask down. I probably shouldn't have touched it, should I?" And the pimp says, "No, you shouldn't have touched that bitch." And that was it. And she goes, "Well, listen, I'll go to the toilet and check my moneymaker just to see if the cut's bad." So meanwhile, everybody else goes into the cinema and starts watching the movie, and it's quite meta because it's kind of a movie within a movie and everything like that.
Yeah,
But meanwhile,
I love that, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Movie within
I
a
mean,
movie.
it's nice because it wasn't really done that much back in 1985. I think Anguish was maybe a year or 2 later than
Yeah, a
than
couple years later. Yeah.
But it's nice. But meanwhile, the lady of the night in the toilet, she's struggling in the bathroom right enough. And this is probably my biggest burning issue with Demons. The puss in the movie. There's a lot of puss in this movie. There's a lot of puss, and she starts getting this boil, and it's going pop.
It's like creamy as well, isn't it? It's like creamy.
Yeah. Ugh, and she's got enough fingers, and she's going, and she's really having a bad time. And guess what? She turns into a demon. Horror ensues. Everybody's a fucking demon. End of the world. Everybody's a fucking demon. So that's the setup for this movie. So this was directed by Lamberto Bava, I think that's how I pronounce it, who also made Demons 2, Devilfish, Graveyard Disturbance, and he made The Ogre, which was a TV movie and quickly got rebranded to Demons 3. Which
Demons 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Yeah, I've never seen it. Trivia, in the UK, it was cut by 1 minute and 5 seconds, and they got rid of quite a lot of injury detail and puss. Funny that.
Yeah.
Right?
You're the director's cut, so you got to see all of it. That must be why you got turned off by it. It's the director's cut.
Must have been, mate. Must have been. The Metropole Cinema in Belgium is a nightclub called Goya these days, and it has lots of horror conventions because it was the place where they shot fucking demons.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So what I liked about this movie, so I like the gore, and I've put in brackets, not the puss. So I like the gore. The overall look of the movie is really nice. Aesthetically, it's a nice looking movie. This, it's very Argento. It's got it's very neon. It's very nice and bright and everything like that. And there's nothing really hidden in the darkness. It takes delight and glee from showing you every fucking bit of puss that is.
All right, enough with the puss.
All right, okay. The music is as of its time. But to be honest, it's pretty good and it works quite well. Although there is some kind of rock and roll track that's halfway through the movie, which was fucking bizarre. The practical effects are
Go
also
West track though. It's like the Go West one is awesome. I love that song.
Go West, just
what
a
a
bit
great
of Go
song,
West
man.
in the middle of there, bonkers. The practical effects are very, very awesome. I have to say, there's a lot of really good work on screen, even if it makes you feel sick and disgusting and dirty.
The demons look great, man. I love those demons. I think the demon design is just exceptional. So
They're
good.
scary as well. They're scary.
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. It's like that's what you want demons to be, and like
True.
you're afraid to go near them because just one little scratch, and that's it. You're a demon. So that's why I like characters like that. Like you watch a werewolf movie now, and people like fist fighting with werewolves, and like you want to be like. Yes, it's so scary. You can't get anywhere near it. You just got to run away all the time because if they get to you, that's it. It's over, and that's what the demons are like in this movie. It's like if they catch you, there's no escape.
They're like herpes, mate. You only need one. Touch them once, mate, and that shit's with you for life. they're like, especially
have a bad day.
No, exactly. The makeup as well, where that demon comes out with that girl's back. That was pretty fucked up as well. But quite a good scene. Let me see. I like the storyline. As I said, the movie within a movie bit. That really good. The pimp guy is just awesome.
He is the best one.
He is the best thing in it, man. And you know, I like quite a lot of it is funny, but unintentionally funny, if that makes sense. So I do laugh quite a lot when I'm watching Demons. So that's always a good thing. What I don't like.
Don't say puss, man. We got it. We got the puss. You can skip over that one.
It actually says puss, puss, puss. So yeah. I put some of the scenes are quite cack-handed, you know. There's some really good stuff visually, like I've touched on, and then you'll get the odd scene which is just really shoddy, either camera work, editing, or something like that. And some of it's really kind of cack-handed. The coke snorting punks. Just what the fuck, man? What are these guys all about? I didn't like the coke snorting.
They just show up, don't they? They just show up, like, and there's like no rhyme or reason. It's like, just let's kill some more people, so we'll have these people show up. And I thought that was a bit strange as well, mate. I really did.
Yeah, so it doesn't work for me. And then finally, you know, the dub is fucking pretty atrocious. Like to be fair, the dub is atrocious to this movie.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Demons a very generous 6 out of 10. For
6,
me.
that's low, man.
Yeah. But again, it turns my stomach. This movie, it turns my stomach. So 6 out of 10 for me, mate. Yeah, I never want to watch it again. Not because of the artistry, but just because it's so gross.
Yeah. Give me 30 seconds, Pete. Read that comment, and I'll be right back.
No problem. So, oldest fucking viewers says, right, guys, gotta go. Still 5 movies to go. I'll try and tune back in at 8 a.m. tomorrow to see the end of the stream, guys. You guys should be wrapping up by then. Do you know what? He's not. He's not wrong, right enough. We do prattle on a bit, so my apologies, but we will see if we can rattle through these next few movies nice and quickly for you guys, because it's Sunday night, and you know you'll be wanting your bed and everything like that. So that was my take on Demons. It's a conflicting one, because you can obviously see that a hell of a lot of work's gone on screen, and there's a hell of a lot of artistry in there, but it just turns my stomach. It's very similar to I can't remember which Peter Jackson Gore movie it was, but there's a scene in one of the Peter Jackson Gore movie where this nurse has a cut throat and she eats fucking custard, and the custard comes through her fucking throat, man, and it's just disgusting. Anything that introduces custard with open wounds is just bang on wrong, and that's what Demons does, man. Demons does a lot of that. That's what did you think of Demon?
Let's go through these comments and I'll tell you about Demons. Dr. Impossible is with us of Counterpunch 1984. Hi, mate. I found Drag Me to Hell overwritten, and often I felt the dialogue scenes drew too much tension away from the main plot. Raimi can find balance in both with a simple plan. Probably his finest film. I'm a fan of that film. Like, it's a really, really good film, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And it's the closest thing that Sam Raimi has to a straight, well-crafted film, like, right enough. Yeah, but straight being the operative word.
Yeah, I miss his flair in that one, though. I've got to say, I miss his like the stuff his like signature stuff that he does. He's like not doing it on purpose.
Yeah,
but it still works.
Yeah.
Dave says, I still have Demons 1 and 2 on widescreen VHS store-bought tapes from the 90s. When I got them, I love part 1, I love part 2. I said before, I have here part 3 I didn't like so much. I always remember seeing part 3 in the video shop, Demons 3, the Ogre, and I'm like, that doesn't look like Demons.
It doesn't. Furry hand
movie, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. Right, last comment here is correct, yes. Yeah, Demons. Demons. Right, I think I prefer Demons 2 to Demons 1 because, like you said, I like on the Demons. I like the movie within a movie. I like the stuff that's like mirroring what's happening in the theater is happening on the screen. I really like that, and it's very atmospheric. Like the movie they're watching, it's like super interesting, and it is even more so in the second one when they're watching it on the TV. I think that's the best part of Demons 2 is that little movie within a movie they're watching. I think it's crazy good that. Demons 1. I think the demons are my favorite thing about the movie, like the proper scary like monsters, and the kills are cool. And I do not understand that demon that comes out of that lady's back. what was the point in that? Because you think it could come out and it's like a special demon because it's the only demon that appears out of a woman turns into a demon, and then the back splits open, another demon comes out, and then he's just like hanging around for the rest of the movie. Like when he's driving around on the motorbike and he's like, there's that demon that just popped out that lady's back, but he's not doing anything. He's like, he's not part of the story or anything. I'm like, what was that all about? I don't understand. Like, it was cool when he came out and look at the demon and everything, but who thought of that? Like, let's just have a demon coming out a demon's back. Anyway, it was very, very strange. I like the way it builds up, and I was surprised to see that the helicopter scene that kind of came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I mean, they probably put some effort into that movie,
and
then when they get out of the theater, you understand why there's a helicopter crashed. But at the time, I was thinking, why is there a helicopter just dropped down from the top of the theater? You don't know that. You don't know that.
The weird thing about that scene, I went to see Miss Saigon at Edinburgh Playhouse a couple of years back there. I'd never seen kind of massive musical production. And right in the middle of Miss Saigon, fucking helicopter like lands, kind of almost crash lands like on the stage, right enough. So massive production, right enough. But all I could think about was demons, man. When I was watching Miss Saigon,
you're not the only one, actually.
Totally.
And I thought it was funny the blind guy when he turns into a demon. The demon, he's already blind. He hasn't got any eyes, and the demon goes ahead and digs his eyes out again. Like, he's got no eyes anyway, and he like blinds him a second time. I'm like, what's a bit
totally. Like putting perfume on a pig. Totally. And I thought it was quite mean, that bit as well, because his carer, she sees some random strange guy and she goes off for a bit of dogging up in one of the other rooms, leaves her patient there, and he's there going, whatever her name was, Miranda, I can't see you, where are you? And she's like, It's just,
and the guy doesn't let her go back. The guy's just like, come here.
There was no need for that mean spiritedness. I thought, like, I wasn't quite sure where that was coming from, but hey ho. The Italians, though, they do like a bit of.
The acting is a bit ropey, like, overall in the movie. It's just about passes muster, but it is some ropey acting in that movie. But like I said, that black pimp guy, he steals the show, man.
100%.
He's so cool.
100%.
And I'm glad he comes back in the second one as well.
He does. Isn't he a fitness instructor in the second one? Is that right? He works in the gym.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But he gets it in that one as well.
Yeah. They all get it, man.
I like those the Demons movies. I think they've got great atmosphere. Like, overall, they're like very atmospheric sort of movies. So I'm gonna give Demons. What did you give him? Give it
6. I give it 6.
6. I'll give it. You know what? I'm gonna give it another 7 because I had a good time. I had a really good time with it. And actually, I like Demons 2 more, but I would give that a 7 as well. Just because the second half of that movie goes all goofy with the gremlins and stuff like that. The little gremlin demon and the dog that turns into a demon, all that stuff that spoils the movie. It gets a bit too comical.
Goofy. Yeah.
And it just spoils. The first half of Demons 2 is like a solid 9. I think it's wicked. But the second half just brings it down. As soon as it comes out on TV, then it goes downhill from there.
Fair play, no problem, matey.
Right, yes. So that was Demons, and what day was that? Was that Thursday? Yeah. Thursday. So Friday's movie was The First Power, and isn't it weird, Pete? Friday's movie and today's movie pretty damn similar, don't you think?
The same stories, mate. Pretty much the same stories. And I think Vasi, your picture is frozen. Are you still there?
Can you still hear me though?
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. I can hear you fine. Yeah, hopefully it'll kick back in. Right, okay.
Go ahead, tell us about The First Power.
No problem. Right, okay. The First Power. So this was directed by a chap called Robert Reznikov. Now, the interesting thing about him, mate, is I can't find another movie that this guy's actually made. He seems to have done. This is his only piece of work. So I don't know if that says anything about the time that he had whilst making this movie. Now, the setup for this movie is Lou Diamond Phillips is a detective working homicide. He's receiving anonymous phone calls from a lady who's telling him where this demonic serial killer is going to kill next. So he's basically got the location of his next kill. So he sets up a murder squad, if you like, to stake out this area and wait for their killer to actually come on scene so they can apprehend him, arrest him, and essentially, save the city from this man who just killing people left, right, and center in the shape of a pentagram on the map as well. They catch the killer, and all the while, this Lou Diamond Phillips's anonymous tipster is telling them, when you catch this man, don't sentence him to death. Whatever you do, you promise me that. And he goes, okay, I won't put him to death. Just tell me where he is. And anyway, they arrest him, and Lou Diamond Phillips takes a couple of knives, a couple of stabs to the stomach, but he arrests him and gets him on death row, and they kill him. Now, little did he realize that he's been granted the first power, which is resurrection. So he promptly comes back and starts to possess everybody he can and commit more murders without fear of repercussion or anything like that, because he's now a demonic killer. So that's the setup for the first power. Trivia, let me see. The budget was 10 million, but it made 22.5 million. So it actually did all right.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well done, first power. Well done, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Yeah, exactly. I think Lou Diamond Phillips was just coming off the back of Young Guns and La Bamba. So, I think this was one of his first leading man roles. Okay, the reviews were quite negative when it first came out. But again, the audience seemed to like it because they spent, quite a lot of money going to see it. Stuart Copeland, who's the drummer for the band The Police, scored the entire film. Did you know that?
I didn't even register like the soundtrackers, like the music, the score. I didn't really even.
I thought it was kind of standard, video fare. If I'm being honest. So yeah, it was critically panned. Right. So what I like this storyline, be it from Shocker, which was 1 year prior, I think, Shocker, Fallen, or even The Hidden, but The Hidden's got aliens rather than a demon. But it's all very bloody similar. But I do like this story beat. It works for us. It has some nice ideas, such as the body hung from the top of the bridge. That was very kind of Seven-esque, I thought.
It was, yeah.
It also has got some big ideas as well. That like the way that the possessed move. They're suddenly fucking ninjas, and they could launch through the air and fucking dive off 10 stories off buildings and then just land on the deck.
I've got a clip. Let's hope it. I don't get it right.
See you around, buddy boy.
I can fly.
Good.
I can see my house from here.
That's good. What else did I put? I put the possessed of full-on demons flying about and surviving large falls. Lou Diamond Phillips and Jeff Robar are good. You know what I mean? As the killer and as the hero, they're both good here. They're likable actors. I don't mind them. What I didn't like about this movie, it's pretty fucking stupid, right? Lou Diamond Phillips, right? He breaks into people's houses, he kidnaps folk, he pulls a gun on fucking everybody in this movie. Like, everybody are like, "Hey, mate, have you got the time?"
He's a rubbish copper, him. He's a rubbish copper.
Well,
he's really bad.
The bit that made me laugh was like his poor mate, right? His poor mate, right? The psychic woman goes, "Ooh, danger. You're going to be in danger." And he even turns around to Lou Diamond Phillips. He goes, "I believe that bitch. I'm in danger."
I don't want to die.
Yeah, he goes, "It'll be fine," right? And after everything Lou Diamond Phillips has seen already in the movie, he's like, "It'll be fine. Don't worry about it," right? 5 minutes later, they're in I don't know, Chinatown or wherever it was, and a fucking horse gets spooked and stamps on this guy to death, right?
Bunch
What
of
does
times.
Lou Diamond Phillips do? Think about it. A spooked horse. What does Lou Diamond Phillips approach said horse with caution and say, "Whoa, whoa"? No, he fires his fucking gun in the air like that's going to unspook a fucking spooked horse that's trampled on his mate to death. It's so fucking stupid. Anyway, so yeah, the horse. Oh, and the extractor fan scene, right? The extractor fan scene. So this extractor fan gets pulled out with the ceiling by the killer, right? Now this extractor fan, it works without no power whatsoever, right? And it's bulletproof. Guys, shooting at it, right? So it's made of. It must have been made of titanium.
I've got a clip. Let me show the clip. I didn't show anymore in case it gets copyrighted.
Stupid.
That's a cool scene, man. That's my favorite scene in the movie.
No, listen. It's kind of cool, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense, mate. But
he's supernatural, dude. He's like a supernatural guy, so he can generate electricity in his hand to do it.
True.
I don't know what
like electric gremlins. So he's like you're saying he's like an
whatever.
Yeah,
totally. Yeah, why
right.
not? And it's spinning so fast, it deflects the bullets. I don't know what the problem is there, mate. What is your problem with that?
I think generally, mate. I think generally, I laughed quite a lot in this, but I found myself, my eyes were rolling, quite a lot because I've seen films like The Hidden, Shocker, and a movie that we're going to get onto shortly. It's definitely the weakest of the bunch for me. It feels like a straight-to-video affair. Even I think the only country it didn't get a release in was the UK. I don't think it got a cinema release in the UK. But it feels like straight-to-video affair. I remember it when I was younger seeing it, and I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more when I was younger than I did this week. I'm going to give the first power a 5 out of 10 for me.
Oh, that's a
5 out
of 10.
No, 5 out of 10.
When was the last time you've seen it? So it's a very, very long time, is it?
Yeah. Probably, not long after it first came out was probably the last time I saw it. Oh yeah, and that title sequence is fucking takes an eternity, man. Takes an eternity at the start of the movie. It's like, listen, it's heart's in the right place and all that. And I like the psychic girl. She was pleasant. She was nice. She was canny, but again, she gets kidnapped. She fucking burglarized and everything by Lou Diamond Phillips, and she keeps knocking around with him. She's glutton for punishment. Absolutely nuts. But yeah, and I know we're watching a movie about a killer that's been resurrected who's possessing folks, so you should suspend this. You should suspend disbelief anyway. But it's just too stupid. And Lou Diamond Phillips makes horrendously bad decisions in this movie. Like I say, that fucking horse scene, I was like, that's the worst thing to do, man. You fucking poor mate. But yeah, that's on you, Lou. That's on you.
I had a good time with it, Pete. I enjoyed this movie. Yeah. I'm a fan of supernatural cop thrillers. So and this is one of them. So I didn't think it seemed like cheap or anything, or seemed like it was made for TV or anything like that. I mean, it wasn't great. It wasn't like a spectacle or anything, but I thought it was very competent. And I thought the baddies, I thought he's wicked, man. It's like a very kind of intimidating dude. Yeah. Like I was like, that's a good bad guy,
mate. I've got to tell you this, right? Right, I noticed this and I laughed my ass off it, right? Do you know that scene where he's at the court steps and he's like, "How's the stomach, buddy boy?" And he's going to say, "I wouldn't mind getting the death penalty, buddy boy. Would you agree with me on that?" And Lou Diamond Phillips going, "I might be able to help you out there, yes." And he goes, "Oh, I knew I could count on you," right? The next scene, they're all celebrating in the police station, right? And someone hands in the newspaper and it says, "Dude gets life," right? And the photo is the exact same screenshot where he's going, "How's the stomach, buddy boy?" And I'm thinking, where was the photographer there? They actually used that fucking picture. I was like, oh.
I didn't notice it.
Yeah,
that is funny.
So
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I like the the fact the killer like puts the pentagrams on there. I like that he's like occult,
yeah,
satanic sort of stuff. Yeah, I enjoyed all that stuff, man. And that scene with the fan, man. That's that I haven't seen the movie in an age, and that fan scene is like the main thing I remember from watching the movie the first time round. And I thought it was kick-ass, man. And I like the little bits of comedy in there, like the homeless person who's like spinning around when they're in the apartment and out the back window, and she keeps popping up and she spins around and she's like hello, and then she goes back down again and comes up again.
Do you know what she reminded me of? She reminded me of that blonde-haired ghost from Scrooged, who keeps kicking the shit out of Bill Murray, the woman.
Totally, man.
I was like, it's her. It is her. But yeah.
I mean, I like that. It didn't take itself too seriously. I like that, but it wasn't at the same time. It wasn't like too goofy. But yeah, I had a decent time watching it. I wasn't bored once. I mean, the only thing I'd say, I mean, this will be the difference between this movie and Fallen, is that anytime the bad guys comes up on screen, it's really enjoyable. But the bits in between, they're not that interesting, to be honest. Like I was just waiting for it to show up again. That's all I was waiting for, was for the killer to come back, because that's when it gets exciting. But when he's not there, I was losing a bit of interesting, which is which is different from Fallen, like, because in Fallen, like, the whole movie's interesting all the way through.
Tight,
I thought,
it's tight, absolutely. Well, what are you giving that?
I don't know. What did you give it? A 5? I'll give it a 6. I'm going to give it a 6 because I had a good time with it. I didn't understand it though. You know, in the first half of the movie, he's possessing all these people, but when Lou Diamond Phillips sees him, he looks like the killer. What's his name? Channing. He looks like Channing, the serial killer that got executed. But in the second half of the movie, everyone he possesses, you see the person he's possessed. So you see the homeless person, you see the nun as the nun, the homeless person is as the homeless person. But in the first half of the movie, you see it's Channing the whole time, even though he's possessing other people. Isn't that weird?
That's true, and it's quite a nice touch as well. The fact that you can still see Channing, I like that touch. I didn't like it so much when, you know, I'm thinking of the blonde-haired ghost from Scrooge. You know what I mean? I would have much preferred just to see fucking Channing, because he's got a good screen presence. He's intimidating, and his whole buddy boy shtick works. Like, you know what I mean? More of him. More of him. That's
another one that's a good similarity with Fallen, is that in this one you can tell when the person's possessed, because you'll say a buddy boy and you go, oh, that's him, that's the buddy. And in Fallen, it's like they'll start singing the song, innit?
Singing the song. Absolutely. That's solid 6 out of 10.
So I'll give it 6 out of 10. Okay, it's not a bad movie. It's on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. Go ahead and watch it on YouTube.
Tube of the U.
Yeah. Right, let's go to the comments before we go to the last one. No, there's 2 more left, isn't there?
2 more.
We're going slow today, people. We need to speed these up.
Yeah, we are going slow. Someone's commented that we might be finished by 8 a.m.
I blame Event Horizon. That must be the reason.
Yes.
Dave says I give Boost Demons a 9 out of a Boosty 10, and Part 2 a 9.5 out of a Boosty 10. Dave loves Demons, man.
Wow.
And why not? Dr. Impossible of Counterpunch 1984 says Bava is one sick effer. The gratuitous gruesomeness is more comedic. When I watched the film many moons ago, the more goo mayhem, the better. And the experienced cast can barely act. Good effects, though.
That's
all of that. Dr. Impossible, do you remember the gargoyle Bok from Doctor Who? Poor old Bok looked like he'd crapped his pants, I guess. Big feet and a tongue that permanently stuck out his mouth. Dave says, I think I give the Demons movies high ratings because of atmosphere. The characters are throwaway, but I guess that might be the point too. Just have a body count, as you say. Yeah,
it's got a good body count, to be fair.
Yeah. Dave says, I think I saw it on videotape originally. The first Power was good fun. I give it an 8 out of Bushy 10. Yeah. I mean, it's not as good as I remember it being, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, when you're a kid, all that stuff just kind of resonates. It's
yeah.
I mean, it stuck with me. So there must be something to the movie. Because, I mean, a lot of the bits, when I saw them, like when he jumps off the building and that dude who's strung up like that, I mean, those things, it must have made an impression. Because I remember when I saw them, I thought, oh, yeah, I remember that bit. And so, yeah, man.
No, absolutely, man.
Not seen that baddie in anything else, to be honest. He's really got a good presence to him. He's very creepy dude. Jeff Korber. I think I remember seeing him in X-Files, one of the episodes of X-Files. I think the Thing episode. I think he's in that. He's like a helicopter pilot or something. But
is he?
I don't think I've seen him. But yeah, I would have cast him in more stuff, man. He's good.
I do recognize his face. He looks like one of those character actors that has probably been in a fair few things that we don't realize.
Right, so that was the first Power, and the next one is the Rite 2011. Right, see if you can whiz through this quick as you can, Pete.
Let's get through this quickly. Okay, so the Rite is directed by a guy called Mikkel Hatterstrom, I'm going to say, but I've probably pronounced that wrong. Now, this guy is quite a seasoned filmmaker. He directed 1408. Derailed, Escape Plan,
awesome.
Outside the Wire as well, which was that big Netflix movie of this year. The budget for this one was 37. Actually, I'll do the setup quickly. Essentially, there is a priest. There's this guy who is he's at a crossroads in life. What does he want to do? Does he want to work with his dad, Rutger Hauer, in a mortuary? Or does he want to join college and get all this cool free education? But just so happens he has to be a priest at the end of it. He opts to go to college and work with the priesthood. But halfway through the priesthood, he realizes that he actually doesn't have any faith whatsoever. So he's going to leave. And he threatens to leave. And one of the senior priests says, "Well, listen, do me a favor. Go to Rome. We've got this. It's basically a school for exorcists." And I think you'd kind of get something out of it, because you're skeptical, and we probably need a bit of skepticism as well. So go there and train with these guys, see what you think. He gets to Rome, and he's very logical. He's looking at everything from a psychological point of view rather than a demonic possession point of view. And they say, "Hey kid, why don't you go down to this little suburb and go and meet Anthony Hopkins, who's this seasoned exorcist, and he'll be able to show you the ropes." And right enough, he meets Anthony Hopkins, and literally from day one, he's slung right into the world of exorcism, where he's doing them live on the spot. And that's the setup for this movie. Right, okay. Trivia, the budget was 37 million, and it made 96.6 million, this movie. So
wow,
right,
really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Apparently, it's based on real people as well. So the vicar who doesn't have much faith at the start of the movie, and Anthony Hopkins' characters are apparently real people, and it's all true. It's not all true. But it's based on real people, apparently. Okay, so what I liked, I thought the movie it's nicely shot. It's very professionally presented. You're in no doubt that you're watching a movie of high production value and quality. See, it feels like a big production. Anthony Hopkins is always good value, and his performance is generally good. He does a lot of character range in this movie, from straight talking bitter priest to off the wall batshit wailing, I'm a Welshman, and all this blah 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 crazy shit. So he does quite a bit of acting in this movie. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, but overall he's always good value. Anthony Hopkins, you're always going to get a performance. He's one of those actors that doesn't really turn up for a paycheck. He always tends to give it his all. Let me see. Oh yeah, and I also put here the bit where he slaps the little child. I thought was fucking brilliant, man. I laughed my ass off. I loved that. I even rewound that and watched that little kid get it one more time, just to be sure. Like, what I saw was brilliant. Look at that 90-minute movie of that kid just getting bish, 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 bish. She's so sweet. She's so adorable, this little girl. Hey, mister, will you bless my darling? He goes, ah, like that. Proper twats her in the face and that. And she's on the, he walks off on the floor like this. He walks off
Yeah,
and going,
right.
Hail Mary and all this. And the parents are going, "Huh? Did a priest just assault my daughter?" And I'm like, yes, he fucking did. I saw it twice. Right. Okay. What I didn't like, I just thought this movie was dull. You know, it's dull. Some of the Hopkins possessed speak is unintentionally funny rather than scary. I didn't think it was scary at all. And there was, you know what, the thing that pissed me off most, because you've got an actor like Anthony Hopkins, there was zero chemistry between him and the vicar who had, faith challenges. There was no chemistry whatsoever. You did not get from this young guy one little bit that he liked, appreciated, anything Anthony Hopkins was doing throughout the creation of this movie. So ultimately, that's why the movie fell flat for me. And I thought I didn't like I think it is the main guy's name is Colin O'Donoghue, and as a performance, I didn't rate it whatsoever. It was so monotone and so boring and so wooden. It kind of sucked for production.
It doesn't carry the movie, does it?
Definitely. And I just thought the exorcisms were bang average, mate, to be fair. Even, where the CG Anthony Hopkins face at the end, he looks like a fucking bloated walrus or something like that. It wasn't scary. It was just like, wah. He looks like he's just had, some smack. It looks like he's just been on the smack for a couple of months. That's all. He doesn't look possessed at all. He's just been on heroin. He just looked like a heroin addict. So I thought this movie was a 6 out of 10 for me. It was watchable, but I don't want to turn on a movie just for it to be watchable. I want to be scared, entertained. This movie about fucking exorcisms. There was like 8 or 10 exorcism opportunities they had in this movie to scare you, and they didn't take one of them. So,
do you want to read the quote on the back of the box? See if you agree with this. The best film about exorcism since The Exorcist. That's what's written on the back of the box.
Who said that?
That's a quote. Lisa Germany TV Guide Network. Never even heard. I think it's made up.
Yeah.
That's not real. That's not real, dude.
Lisa from the TV Guide. You're wrong. No. It was lame, mate. It was a PG-13 exorcism movie. That's what it felt like for me. It was lame. The side characters, the little possessed boy, the possessed pregnant girl, and all that, they were perfectly fine. They didn't do anything wrong. It's the material, the way it was shot. It didn't work, but ultimately the biggest problem that movie has is the two leads have zero chemistry, just zero. And that was my biggest problem with it. 6 out of 10.
Right, yeah. I thought, it's a good film. I think it's a good film, but it's not a very good horror film because it's, like you said, it's well made, but it's just not scary, man. And I remember I was looking forward to this movie when it came out. It's like Anthony Hopkins, he's pretty much my favorite actor, dude. And it's an exorcism film, and it's from the director of 1408, which I think is a wicked film. And I was really looking forward to it, and then it came out, and it was like, it was fine. It was just fine. But it wasn't scary, man. How can you make an exorcism movie and not be scary? Anthony Hopkins carries the movie, in my opinion. Yeah, without Anthony Hopkins, this would be like a rubbish movie. He makes it interesting, and he like all the deficiencies of the main guy, which you're absolutely correct. I think Anthony Hopkins kind of makes up for it because I think he was really, really good in this movie. I was really like, anytime he's on screen, I don't know, he's such a good actor, man. I don't know. Yeah. It's like every time I see him, I'm kind of hypnotized by his acting. He's just so good, and everything's so subtle. And then when he goes overboard, it gets even better. And so I liked all the stuff when he was possessed near the end. I thought all that stuff was great. And I like the way his face changed, and I thought it was great, but it wasn't scary, which is just the thing. You cannot get over that thing there. It just wasn't scary. So I mean, I wasn't bored at any point during the movie. I thought it was fairly interesting. It took a while for Anthony Hopkins to show up. I think it was like 25 minutes before he showed up. So that was the hardest part to get over, was that first 25 minutes. But as soon as Anthony Hopkins shows up, and then he's kind of like he dips in and out of the movie all the way, but he's pretty much in the rest of the movie. I had a decent time, but that's unforgivable having an exorcism movie and it not be scary. It seemed like it wasn't even trying to be scary, to be honest. It was like, because it wasn't about one person being exorcised, and it was like, actually, it was more about Anthony Hopkins slowly getting possessed, isn't it?
But Anthony Hopkins kind of sets the tone in the movie. Well, it did for me, because when the guy, when the main guy first walks in, I think Anthony Hopkins turns around and says something. Oh, there's no spinning heads around here and no pea soup. I was like, oh. That's what I want. That's what I'm here for, bitch.
You're right. The main guy, he was a bit of a dick, wasn't he? Yeah. All the stuff that was happening, like she'd tell him stuff that nobody else could know, and he was still skeptical. I'm like, well, come on, man, what is it going to take for you to get on board?
What about he's got that dying young woman right in front of him, and she's like, Father, please bless me. And she's like, I know I'm going to die. Please bless me. And he's like, oh, I don't know.
I don't believe. Shall I do it? Shall I do it?
If I believe. And I'm like, just fucking lie to her, man. She's dying, man. What the fuck's wrong with you? Worst priest ever. Because he lacked any form of empathy whatsoever. And at the end, where Anthony Hopkins is like, "You're a good man, you're a good soul," and all this, and I'm like, I know that's in the script, but I don't know where you're getting any of that from, Anthony. It just made no sense, because his character showed none of that throughout the course of the movie. Like, weird.
Yeah. So I think I'll give it. Like I said, I thought it was interesting. Even the exorcism bits, I did find them interesting. They just weren't scary. So I think, what did you give it? 6?
I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, you know what? I'll give it a 6 as well. As well. I might give it 6.5 just for Anthony Hopkins, because he's. I thought he was really good in it.
He is good. Good.
Yeah. Without it would be like a 4 or something.
Totally.
Yeah, he's the only I would say he's the only really good reason to watch the movie would be for Anthony Hopkins. I think there's scored a winner just getting him in that movie.
Definitely.
And it's nice. I like seeing him in like horror-ish roles. I like that when Anthony Hopkins does a bit of horror.
Yeah.
Maybe not the Wolfman, maybe, but all the other ones he does.
No.
When he goes into the horror stuff, I really enjoy that.
Yeah, I like Magic. I'm a big fan of Magic, the movie. His performance is truly haunting. Absolutely.
Yeah, big up Anthony Hopkins. Have you seen The Father yet, dude? Have you actually seen the movie yet? Not The Father.
Not yet. No, not yet. Because I've been doing this thing, but it's definitely on my list, and I know it's going to make me cry. So yeah.
Right. Let's get back on these comments before we get to the last movie. Dave says, I think I saw it on videotape originally. The first part was good fun. All right. I think I've just read that one already. Dr. Impossible. Do you two remember The Believers from 1987, directed by John Schlesinger?
Is that Martin?
Got a vague. Yeah, Martin Sheen's in it, I think. Yeah.
Martin Sheen, yeah.
I've got a vague memory of it. I have seen it.
I think I saw it on TV once. I remember it being quite good.
Yeah. That's like a culty movie, innit? Like,
Yeah.
The Believers was good fun, spooky, supernatural type movie indeed. Yeah, it's one of those ones I should really check out again. Yeah, like late 80s, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dr. Impossible. John McTiernan also directed a film in his early Hollywood years with Pierce Brosnan and Leslie Ann Down called Nomads.
Yeah,
it's going to be scary.
Do you remember the trailer?
I do. I totally do.
The trailer was on Aliens, the videotape. I think it was,
okay.
And that's probably why we remember it so much.
Yeah.
Nomads.
And you watch the trailer, and it was like, Nomads is going to be scary. You're going to be scared. I'm like, this doesn't look scary, dude. It doesn't look scary at all. It's just him running around all the time. But it's not as great as I remember. It was very good.
Yeah.
But I love John McTiernan, man. I miss that guy.
Can't
make
go wrong.
more movies, dude.
I think he signed up to make another movie, mate. I read something last week that John McTiernan is back and he's going to do another movie. So I don't know what the movie is, but he's coming back, which is good, because didn't he kind of get exiled because of like tax troubles and stuff like that?
Yeah, something happened. I think he went to jail and everything. Yeah. But
No, he's coming back.
yeah, man. I think he's my favorite action director, like of all time, is John
100%.
McTiernan. You look at the good ones he's made. He's made some of the best.
Absolutely.
With me, some John McTiernan. Dave Busey, I've heard of that movie Nomads, but I just haven't caught up to it yet somehow. Yeah. Don't see that around anywhere. I've not like seen it on any streaming sites or anything.
Nomads, no, I'm not seeing it anywhere.
Yeah. All the believers. Dave says the bad guy from the first Power had a very small role in the remake of The Hills of Ice too.
Right, Dave.
Yes, that's ringing a bell. That part 2, right?
Part 2.
I like both them movies, man. The Hills of Ice, the remake. I like the first and the second. First is better, but both are like proper decent movies. I think I watched them on Disney Channel. You don't expect to see movies like that on the Disney Channel, but you have some belters on there, man. Really good.
I remember I went to cinema to see the Hills of Eyes remake because I was super excited because it was Alexandra Aja's kind of like English speaking debut type of thing. So I went and it didn't disappoint. I prefer it to the original, that's for sure.
Yeah, me too. I don't like the original at all.
No.
I've never seen the part 2, the original part 2.
Oh, mate, it's fucking horrible. It's horrible.
Is it? I've never seen it.
I think there's a dog dream sequence in this movie. So a dog goes to sleep and dreams in the movie, and you see the dog's dream in the movie. Yeah.
Craigie.
That's how good it gets, totally.
I heard he made it at the exact same time he made Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, he filmed it at the same time.
Oh, really?
But it came out just afterwards, yeah.
He must have done it on his lunch break then.
Good. Dave says, just for Hopkins alone, I still haven't seen The Rite. I definitely have to catch up to that movie at some point. Yeah, I think that movie was recommended us by David Torra. I know David's his favorite movie ever is Silence of the Lambs. He's a big Anthony Hopkins fan. Why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be?
Absolutely.
He's one of those actors that's like really grown on me recently. Like when you just watch a bunch of his movies, even the movies that weren't big hits, like watched one called Fracture with I forgot the dude's name who's in everything now. And I watched one with Cuba Gooding Jr. in as well. Like I can't remember what that one was called either, but they were all like he kills in everything, man. He's so good. Yeah. And The Edge, have you seen? I remember seeing The Edge at the cinema. I saw it recently as well. That's a cracking movie.
And a bear.
Yeah. It's a cracking film, that is, dude.
You showed me that movie, man. The fucking the bear scenes are like werewolf scenes. Fucking
totally,
like, bears like just go for it and that. Yeah. Good, man.
And I love that line. Anthony Hopkins, he's like, he gets himself with a bloody stick fixes like something sharp on the end, and Alec Baldwin says, "What are you gonna do?" And then it zooms in on Anthony Hopkins. I'm gonna kill the motherfucker. I'm like, come on, Anthony Hopkins, you're the man. I'm gonna have to rip that bit off and stick on one of my videos.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally.
Dave says, I remember seeing the ads for this movie, The Rite, but somehow I just never sat down to watch it at some point. Yeah, I think I just watched it on Prime, I think. Dr. Impossible, The Rite, I'd rather subject myself to Exorcist 2 with Richard Burton. At least Burton was trying hard to be serious. Well, sort of. That's harsh, dude. That's harsh.
That is harsh. And I didn't like The Rite.
Right, we've reached our today's movie, which is another movie I saw at the cinema when it came out. And the weird thing was, this is the movie, that actually I would say it was my worst ever experience at the cinema, was watching this. I think I was down in Essex. I was on a work placement for 6 months. And I went to the cinema to see it. And it was the one, like the one in Darlow, it's got 3 screens. But the small screen is fucking tiny. It's like a big TV, basically. It was like that. I went to see it, and the screen was that small, and it was that closed in, and there wasn't many seats. And I was surrounded by like teenagers, and they were talking all the way through it, and it just spoiled the whole movie for us, man.
That's a killer, man.
Kill you bastards.
Yeah.
So proper spoiled the movie. Killer. So I didn't like it the first time I saw it, but I've grown to like it much more. So. Do you want to talk something about this movie, Pete?
No problem. So, Fallen from 1998. So this is directed by a chap called Gregory Hoblet, who also made Frequency, Primal Fear, Fracture that you just mentioned.
Oh, right, which is good.
Yeah, and Untraceable. He's made a lot more stuff as well, but they were the ones that I kind of remember.
Was it not Primal Fear? Was that not his first big film, Primal Fear, with Edward Norton,
so.
Richard Gere?
Yeah, I think
that's
so,
a good
mate.
movie, that one. That's
definitely. I even dug Frequency as well. I like Frequency. I think
Frequency is a really good film. Yeah,
really good film. Really good film.
Very good film.
Okay, this movie is about Denzel Washington's character. He's it's pretty much the same fucking movie as The First Power, but Denzel Washington is a detective who is or has been pursuing this particular murderer and has caught him. And that particular murderer is about to be put to death, to be gassed. And he asks Denzel Washington to go visit him before he gets gassed. He meets him, and he's I can't remember the name of the actor. Good actor. I think I might have written
Elias Cortez, something weird like that. Isn't it?
Yeah. He's a very famous character actor. He was the really, really bad guy in that movie Crash, David Cronenberg's Crash. It's him, and he's speaking in tongues quite a lot of it, and he's kind of goading Denzel Washington, and he seems to hint that his work is by nowhere complete, even though death is upon him. So this chap promptly gets gassed in front of Denzel Washington and a bunch of other people, but little does Denzel know that this chap also has the first power of resurrection, and therefore possesses anyone literally who he touches. And I really like that aspect of this movie. They don't have to be a druggie or something wrong psychologically. You literally just walk past them and touch them, and they can possess animals, whatever the fuck he wants, possesses. And killings ensue again, and Denzel Washington's all mystified because it's the same MO and everything like that. And Denzel Washington starts to get toyed with, and horror ensues. Right. Trivia. So the budget on this one was 46 million. So it was quite an expensive movie to make this movie, but it bombed. It made 25.2 million, which is a shocking, for the quality of this movie, it is really shocking, especially when the Rite did so much business. And The First Power made profit, you know what I mean? Whoa, mind boggles. It was heavily criticized on release for having a good setup but not being able to see it through. That was generally what the critics' problem with this. But everybody's a critic, right? What I liked, I thought the movie was just excellently executed from start to finish. I bought into it. The way it was filmed, the flow of the movie, the cameras, the camera angles of the movie, the cinematography of the movie, everything kind of worked. It ticked all the boxes. Let me see. Out of the possession movies that we've mentioned today, certainly with Shock The First Power, this is certainly the strongest out of all. The highest quality art for me.
Yeah.
Let me see. What a cast! So you've got Denzel Washington, you've got John Goodman, you've got James Gandolfini, you've got Donald Sutherland. What a cast! You know what I mean? That's probably where your budget was there, because the cast to this movie is absolutely.
I totally forgot James Gandolfini was in the movie. I'd not seen it for quite a while. I totally forgot. I saw him and I went, James Gandolfini,
and he's full on James Gandolfini in this thing as well. Like, he literally, it's like the director just said, "Just be yourself, James. Just do James Gandolfini, please." And he does, and he does it so well. Like I say, beautifully shot. I thought the score was effective, and it really kind of carries the momentum on, and also kind of builds creep and dread quite nicely through this movie as well. You root for Denzel Washington, and that's the most important thing in this movie. You're rooting for him, man. He is your hero. He's the guy that you want to. You don't like the bad guy at all. You want Denzel Washington's character to prevail. The relationship between Denzel and his brother here on the movie is very strong, and it's heart-wrenching. It is heart-wrenching. And very sad. I love the possessing people just by touching them, and visually, the director's on form, because visually it could be quite a tough thing to actually visually explain. Because there's one scene that where perhaps, and I don't think I'm exaggerating here, Vass, that maybe 30 or 40 people get possessed, and the camera's just zipping about.
Yeah.
But as a viewer, it's not complicated. It's not too complicated.
Mhm.
You're keeping up with it, and that is down to good direction and planning and storyboarding and everything like that. It's really, really good, and it never at all takes you out of the movie. It doesn't feel like a gimmick or anything like that. What else did I like? I like the whole setup for this movie. I like the character's journey and the character's tragedy through this movie, and I even like the ending. I thought the ending was good. I would have maybe not involved a fucking cat and left it as a conclusion. I have to say, I would have liked a conclusion to this movie rather than I told you so. What I didn't like, and I've got one comment here, and it ties in with that ending, mate. I did not like the narration in this movie. There's no need for Denzel Washington to narrate this movie at all. You know, it feels like that bad version of Blade Runner, where Harrison Ford fucking explains the exposition every couple of scenes, just in case you're not fucking following it. You know what I mean? It felt like that, but I guess that narration was for the twist ending at the end, because your narrator is actually the fucking murderer. So I guess that's for the hook. But again, I didn't like that aspect of the ending. I wanted Denzel to fucking smoke his poison cigarette, say something cool, and fucking and win the day. But small gripes. For me, that's an 8.5 out of 10. I really like Fallen. I only watched it for the first time maybe 6 months ago. This is my second viewing of Fallen.
It's been that you only for the first time you saw it 6 months ago.
Yeah, really? It always kind of passed me by, this movie, man. But it just started on TV.
That's probably because of the bloody cover. The cover's rubbish on that movie. I mean, look at that.
It is.
You want to watch that? It's just Denzel Washington's face. I mean, that really does not sell that movie at all. Is it? It's not saying "watch me," is it? It's saying, "This might be all right."
No, totally.
Well, if you don't want to watch it, then mind. That's a really, really bad cover, man.
I think the only reason I did watch it 6 months ago is by then I was in the knowledge that it was a possession movie. So I thought, Fallen, I'll watch this. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. It's a possession movie. I can't remember any of its marketing when it originally came out or anything like that. And we maybe got a teaser spot on TV of Denzel Washington running through a street. Or something like that. Maybe I think if I remember rightly, they tried to market it like it's a little bit maybe Seven-esque or something like that. You know, a little bit like Seven.
I was getting that feeling.
Yeah. So undermarketed.
Even the credits, like the font used on the credits and the way it was kind of flickering on the screen. I thought whoever designed that definitely probably the same guy that did Seven or wants to rip it off.
No, I agree. So 8.5 out of 10 for me. Vas, what do you think of it, buddy?
I'm a big fan of this movie. Like when I actually watched it again on video after the bad experience at the cinema, I got right into it, and I've liked it ever since. Like I bought it on DVD straight away, and then I've not seen it for quite a long time, but it's just a quality film, man. And Denzel Washington is ace in it. It's like one of the really, really good Denzel Washington roles. And he looks really good, you know. Like later on, he starts looking a bit different and acting a bit different. But this is one of his like peak Denzel Washington films, like for me anyway. So yeah, like that. I really like the cast. I agree. Cast is excellent, and I really like the spirit jumping things. I mean, it is a gimmick, and you think about it, it is a gimmick, but it's one of the ones where they have a gimmick, but they use it like. They use it so well, and it crops up a lot, so that they get the most out of that gimmick, which is what you want to see in it. When you see something cool, and they do all the stuff, and you thought, well, they've got it all in this one movie. Because you've seen that sort of thing in other movies, but the way they've done it in this movie is like they proper take it all the way. Yeah. And I love those scenes, man, where it keeps jumping from one body to the next body, like those.
You're kind of conscious
running away, and you're like, run faster, they're gonna catch you. And just tap, 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 tap.
You're consciously aware throughout, certainly in the second half of this movie, just how much danger Denzel Washington is actually in, and his lady friend as well. They meet and they stand a distance away just in case. You know what I mean? It's
totally, man.
You're consciously aware of the danger and the peril that they're in, and I like that, man. I like that a lot.
Like you don't know it's almost like a Body Snatchers movie where you don't know who to trust. You don't know who might be. But at the same time, it's like some of those body jumping scenes. You can tell like the body's doing it just to like taunt Denzel Washington because he's singing the song, and then they'll finish singing the song. Time is on my side, and you'll pop.
He's gloating, he's showing off. Good, like it's good.
But the weird thing is, you can always tell the actor is going to jump into because they all have that look. And I'm like, I bet let's give me that guy next because they turn around. You're like, because they don't hide, don't they? That when they're possessed, they don't hide it. They'll be like normal, and then they'll touch him and they'll go. And I'm like, well, at least try to hide it a little bit, man, just for a little bit. But it's straight away they'll like smirk or something, and like,
that's it.
That's a hard time here.
Do you know all that was missing from that movie, man? All that was missing. I was watching Fallen, and I was thinking to myself, I really want Earl Talbot Blake to show up and get possessed.
I was thinking of Ricochet because when he started saying, "Oh, he's trying to frame me," I'm like, Denzel, just tell him it happened to you before a couple of movies ago. Earl Talbot Blake was trying to frame you then. I was thinking the exact same thing. I'm saying, Denzel, it's happened to you before.
Yeah,
just tell him.
Wrong place at the wrong time.
That's the movie. Yeah. Exactly. And he comes up with a cool plan, just like he did with the Ricochet as well. And he comes up with this awesome plan to although it didn't work so well in this one, but man, I was thinking the exact same thing. Need a John Lithgow in this movie.
Definitely.
That's fantastic, man.
I
really like this movie. It's a great looking film, this man. Great looking film. Very autumnal. All the the browns and the golds and the reds and the oranges. And even Denzel's his fashion through the whole movie is like autumn fashion wear all the way through the movie. Which I thought was cool. Yeah. But I really did like the bits in between those bits, as good as they were, and they were ace.
Yeah.
All that body jumping stuff. Like the bits in between, like you really care about Denzel Washington. And the mystery's really interesting as well. The way the mystery's unfolding, he's finding out Azazel and all this and that. And I really like all that stuff as well. And like you said, that the relationship with his brother, that was like when you see him break down at the door, and I'm like, totally. Oh, man, it's not fair.
And I like the brother. I was genuinely gutted when I thought something had happened to him, and I can't quite work out. Did his son kill him?
No. Why would you think that?
I thought perhaps that someone possessed the son injected it him, and then.
No, I think when he talked to his son, the son was saying, I felt like somebody was tickling my chest. That's because they just put the mark on the chest, didn't they? They put the mark on his chest. Okay. I don't know why they didn't kill the son as well. I mean, if they're going to kill his brother, why did they not kill his son as well?
Yeah, it's quite strange. But maybe they wanted to save it. They want if you're a sadistic killer, you would want your revenge to just last and last and last. So you wouldn't want to do it all in one go. You would piece by piece, deconstruct somebody's life. That's what I would say. Yeah.
But it sounds ace being Azazel, like just body jumping, like spirit jumping all over there. I mean, what a great time. I wouldn't waste trying to make Denzel try and kill himself or whatever. I would just be out having a good time and just jumping in people's bodies and having a good time. I mean, what a life, man.
Me too, man. First place.
Why did he wait to get executed? He would have just killed himself at the beginning and turned into Azazel when he was 16 or something and have a good time.
It'd be like that, let's say if it was me doing all this body swapping and that, the devil would be like, Peter, I sent you back. I granted you the first power to, kill people and extend my work. All you've done is body jump into Victoria's Secret's models. It's been 6 months, Peter. When are you going to kill someone? I don't think the gaffer would be too happy with us.
Yeah. That's very funny.
So, out of 10,
right.
What are you giving that?
Is there any? It's right though. You're absolutely right, Pete. I'll be the same. Where are we at here with the comments?
Out of 10, Vas. What are you giving that? Out of 10?
Oh yeah, shit. Look, dude, I'll give that a solid 8. Solid 8 out of 10. You know what? The only thing I missed from that movie, those body jumping scenes are a proper thrill to watch. Like when you watch those scenes, but maybe a car chase in there would have been nice, a bit of gun action in there would have been nice, like, or an explosion or two. I wouldn't have said no.
Yeah, true.
That would have been a topping on the cake. I like Denzel in action mode.
A bit noir. I think it was going for a taste of noir, but
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think John Goodman was a bit underused in that, apart from at the end. He's a bit underused in the movie, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I mean, he was a dependable friend. I liked his character all the way through.
Me too.
I thought when he starts singing towards the end, it was a bit comedy John Goodman, a little bit. I didn't buy it. If it was James Gandolfini doing that shit, I'd have been scared.
Yeah.
A little bit more scared than I was of John Goodman. He's so cuddly. He's so cuddly and nice. But you know, minor gripe. But Donald Sutherland, man, he was underused, criminally underused. Donald Sutherland. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to mention as well. In the first Power, Dennis Lindstrom was in that, and I really love that actor. I should have given him a shout out beforehand. But,
who was he? Who was he in that movie?
He was Lou Diamond Phillips' boss. Again, a terrible boss, but he was his boss.
Okay, we thought he wasn't in it very much, was he?
No, I wasn't in very much, but I saw it and I thought, oh, Retribution, another possession movie.
Oh, is he the one from? Oh, okay.
Yeah. But Retribution is a fast.
I've got that downloaded. I still haven't watched it. Like I saw it like on a thing. I thought I'd get that download and watched.
I've got the uncut German Blu-ray of Retribution because it's really bloody hard to get by. Yeah. So I mean, I have to say, the picture quality is still VHS quality, but it's uncut. So there's a little bit more gore in it, but it's a great film, Vass. Go and revisit that.
It is. Yeah. I've got very, very fond memories of that movie.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. Everyone check out Retribution. A lot of people haven't seen that movie, like. I'm surprised there's very few like reviews on the YouTube and all sorts.
I think
I should do a review of Retribution.
It's not readily available, it's people forget about it. But I always remember when it came out, Barry Norman on a film, in '89 or whatever it was, give it a good review, and I thought, holy shit, Barry Norman likes a horror film. I need to check this horror film out. This might be good. It was good.
It's got a wicked poster. Like the poster art on the video cassette is awesome. I mean, it makes you want to watch the movie.
Exactly.
Through the blinds, yeah, totally, man.
Yeah.
Right, let's see if we can find these comments. Yeah, dude, I like the narration from Denzel Washington. At the beginning, I wasn't really digging it, but as the movie went through, I thought he was like saying like really wise words and stuff. Like he would always say like stuff that was gonna like inform what was gonna happen next.
Yeah,
like change the context a little bit, and I really like that. Kind of made it interesting, like the bits in between. I thought it made it a lot more interesting, but that was
fair play. I mean, it didn't work for me.
Maybe
but
it's a
small gripe.
Yeah. Okay. Dave says I have part 2, the original part 2, and it's remake part 2. This is The Hills of Eyes, I guess, also on DVD. Yeah, it's weird. The dog has a flashback in the original part 2.
Right.
Yeah. Dave Bushy says Ryan Gosling, that's the dude, was also in Fracture. I do like that movie. The ending is a little clunky, but I really did like it. 7 out of 5 out of Bushy 10. Yeah, that's definitely a very decent film. I don't like Ryan Gosling though. I don't think he's a very good actor. He hasn't got much
charisma.
Yeah, sorry, I was just distracted there for a second. Yeah, that action movie he did. What's it called? The one that came out on was it Netflix?
The Netflix.
The Grey Man. The Grey Man.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, man, the most boring action hero ever in a movie was Ryan.
I wasn't a fan of it, but I do like The Good Guys, Vass. I've told you I like The Good Guys. I think The Good Guys is a great film.
Yeah, no, I like that movie as well. Yeah, but that's just because of the writing and the directing more than him.
Yeah,
I think they could have put more anybody in that role, and they would have done a good job. Definitely. You got Shane Black. I mean.
Yeah, true.
Dave said, I think I saw this on HBO when it came out in HBO at some point. I didn't like it or love. I love Denzel as an actor, and a few of the supporting cast was good, but overall, I didn't like the story at all. Yeah, it's one of the ones that's it's not a movie that everybody loves. No, but I don't know. Like if you can just get into if you can get in sync with the film, I think you like have a really good time with it. Because like I said, the first time I saw it, I just totally wasn't in sync, and it didn't feel as exciting as I was hoping it was going to be. But like the next time I saw it, it was like I was sucked in straight away, and I was loving it.
No, fair play.
Right. I give Fallen a 2.5 out of a Boosty 10. Whoa, that's actually not out of a 5. Boosty 5. That's
a Boosty
way
10.
low, dude. Dave says I got to see it at the theaters, and I nominate Wes Craven's Shocker instead of Fallen for as a similar type loose story. Shocker, I give a 7 out of a boosty 10. That is a funny movie, like a fun movie, and a funny movie. But that's a crazy ass film. That man makes no sense at all.
For me, Shocker works. Shocker's first half is much better than its second half. I like the setup for Shocker. I like some of the flashbacks scenes are quite scary where his dead girlfriend comes back and all that. I like all that stuff. And when they start leaping around TV.
I don't like in the movie, Pete. I don't like the dead girlfriend. It doesn't make any sense.
You know,
she's just there to move the plot on how to get rid of Horace
Peter.
Bit,
it was all the TV leaping. You know, the second half of the movie, man.
I love that, man. I think that's cool. It's ridiculous. It makes no sense. Is it controlling with the remote control? Doing this and down.
No,
I mean, it's ridiculous, but I like when they go through the TV channels. I thought that was, I don't know. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. Like, right, dude. So that's the end of the comments. It was a lot longer this show than I was thinking, since these are all very, very familiar movies. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Supernatural Week. And we're in the final week of 31 Days of Halloween. And next week is Halloween themed movies. Yes. And I got to say, I'm not looking forward to this week as much as I would have hoped, because there's a bunch of movies I know I don't like, but hell, maybe I might change my mind on some of them. Tell us about them.
All right. Okay. Well, tomorrow we've got Trick or Treat, which
Trick or Treat,
like that movie. The following day, Rob Zombie's Halloween. The following day.
No.
I know. The following day, we've got Haunt.
I'm not a fan of that one either, dude.
The following day, this is the plummeting day for me. This is going to be a tough day. It's Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Which God. I think is nigh on unwatchable as a film. You know, it's a feat in itself to make something so gibberish and coherent. Aye, exactly. So, but you never know. I might be wrong. A lot of people love this movie, so I'll watch it with fresh eyes. Say again?
Yeah. Do they really? People like this movie?
Yeah.
I think they're just being contrarian when people say they like Rob Zombie movies, like Halloween movies, stuff like that.
It could be, maybe, because they say shit like, you know, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 is my favorite out of all the Halloween movies. And I'm like, what?
Nah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy talk.
No, it's crazy.
Should be locked
the
up
following day. No, I know. The following day, mate, then we've got the original Terrifier to watch.
Okay.
Which you'll be revisiting after we just watched Terrifier 2, so that might be all right. Yeah. Then the following day, the penultimate Halloween day, I'm quite looking forward to this one, although I've watched it at least 2 or 3 times this year so far. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. One of my favorite films. I love Halloween 3.
Yeah, I love it as well, man.
Yeah, so looking forward to watching that again. And then the final day of Halloween themed week is All Hallows Eve. So I do believe this is the one where Art the Clown was actually introduced to the world. So
I've never seen this one. This is an anthology film, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I've never seen. I've seen All Hallows Eve 2, which I remember when I watched it, I thought it was the one without the clown in, but it was like a follow-up movie.
I didn't even realize I had a sequel there, man.
Yeah, there was a second one, which is the one I watched.
Okay,
but, hopefully I can find that one. Yeah, it's the only one I haven't seen.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll see if I can find it as well. I'm sure we'll be able to find that one. And then that is it. That is it. And then all that's left to do after that is we've got one further day, and that will be for us to watch Halloween, the original John Carpenter masterpiece. But that'll be Halloween night. So we've got another busy old week next week, mate. That we can get our team stuck into.
Is there any movies coming out next week, like newer movies?
Well, what have we got? We've got VHS 94 popped up this week.
The 99 VHS 99.
The 99, sorry, 99.
Yeah, dude, I watched that and it's absolute shite, mate. It's fucking awful.
Is it?
It's terrible, dude. It's really bad. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of these VHS movies, but this one was rubbish, man. The last one was okay. To Hell and Back, I think it was called. That one was not so bad, but the rest of them, man, were rotten. Awful.
Damn it. Well, we might get Barbarian dropping this week. There's a movie that I'm hearing good things about called Two Witches. Apparently it's terrifying. I think that's available just now. I think it's just recently dropped from Arrow Video. I would probably say maybe check out Two Witches. And you know, if you haven't seen it already, you've got to check out Deadstream. It's great.
I saw Deadstream, Pete. I saw it.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was wicked, man. I really, really enjoyed it. That was like one fun movie, man.
Totally.
Yeah, and you were
get what I mean
spot
about
on with
Evil Dead
the way
2?
you explained it. Yeah, it was really, really good. Yeah, I liked everything about it, man. That's like for a shudder movie. That's like one of the best I've seen. Like maybe apart from Host. It was really. I had a really good time with that movie. I'd highly recommend that for anybody who wants like just a really awesome time watching a horror film. It was like plenty of like effective good jump scares in it, and it was fun and it was funny. But yeah, man, it was a great time. That that was
I'm
a
over
great
the moon
show.
that you saw that and like that, mate. I'm over the moon because
I liked it very much.
Yeah. It just reminded me very much of like the kind of movies that we watched when we were kids and we used to have a great time with. So no, fantastic. So I'm going to say Two Witches and Barbarian then. I think might be the extracurricular movies that will drop this week. We might get something else, you know, dropping on some of the streaming platforms for Halloween, you know. So we'll see what drops. I'm sure there will be other stuff. But incidentally, Vass, have you started watching a show on Disney called The Old Man yet?
No, I haven't started watching. No, is that the one with Jeff Bridges?
Jeff Bridges, mate. And guess who his nemesis is? Motherfucking John Lithgow. Yeah, exactly. So if you want your John Lithgow fix, it's right here, mate. Right here. It's really good. I'm 3 episodes in, and it's like it's basically a pensioner John Wick.
Oh, that sounds wicked.
Can't go wrong, mate. Can't go wrong. There's plenty of stuff kicking about, mate. But for me, it's going to be Barbarian and Two Witches that I'm going to try and seek out this week.
Cool, man. Let's hope so. What's that tape behind you, Pete? That with the lights on right behind your shoulder.
Oh yeah. So this is it's Nightmare on Elm Street.
Can you get any? Let me make that full screen. Hang on.
So there's this lady who has her own website, and you basically order any tape you want. They've got the thing there. They've got any horror movie that you want, and she messes with a VHS tape and makes it a cool little light, so you can put it in your cabinet and stuff like that. That's it.
Is it battery operated?
It's battery operated, yeah.
All right, okay. Are they rechargeable batteries, or is it like you have to put new batteries in all the time?
They're not rechargeable. I suppose you could put rechargeable batteries in there, but they're not rechargeable. Yeah. But that will last. It's 2 batteries, and I've had that. I've had them in since ever. I've had it for about a year. It's the same batteries, and it still works. I don't think it takes too much juice. It's only a couple of little lights, but they're quite
cool,
nice.
Man. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, like I say, it's this lady who's got a website. You can get them on eBay as well. They're about £9, and you can choose the movie. So if you want John Carpenter's Halloween, you want The Thing, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street. I chose the Elm Street one because the sticker's really cool, but Jaws and everything's there is available as well. So yeah, they're all good, man.
Very good, man. Like it a lot.
Did I show you this?
Yeah.
It's The Exorcist.
It's a duck.
It's a duck. Oh, see. I can't quite.
Why is it a duck?
I have no idea. My family got me that for Christmas.
Yeah, it's cool. Like,
there we go.
Nice, Pompey. I like it. Very good. Okay, then, folks, that's the end of this week's episode of 31 Days of Halloween. Next week is going to be Halloween themed movies. We'll be back same time, same place next week, Sunday night. Thanks everyone in the chat who's joined us. Is there any more comments? Let's not leave them comments. I think I saw this on HBO. We've got that one. Okay, I think we did get through all the comments there.
I think we did.
7 out of 10 for that one. Yeah. Got through them all. That's wicked.
Can I just say?
So we see you guys. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, can I just say, please like and subscribe to Vassi's channel, please. He needs new members. All are welcome. So go tell your friends. Me and Vass are knocking our pans in here, watching some sometimes pretty shite movies, to be fair, for your enjoyment. So please like and subscribe and share links with your friends and stuff like that. Vasi, he doesn't want much, but 1 million subscribers and a couple of $100,000 royalties from YouTube on a yearly basis wouldn't go amiss. Like, sort him out.
Yeah, I was quite impressed this week. My first ever video that actually got restricted status on YouTube. So when you click on it, you have to say 18 before you watch it, which is the Prowler video I did a few days ago.
I saw that. It did that to me at work. It wouldn't let me in.
So I'm quite proud of that. They didn't like the boobies in it, I don't think. Didn't mind all the gore and the exploding heads. They were fine with that, but a couple of boobies and it's restricted. So what can you do? But I'm quite happy with that.
Another way.
And on that note, we will see you guys next week. Thanks again for joining us and everyone in the chat. I hope everyone has a good week. And 1 week to go, and it's Halloween. We'll see you then. Take it easy.
Bye bye.
See you later, chillers.